a high, deep drive into left field, and this ball is long gone. Safe, he got under the tag.
Will one hop the wall, and it lands for a double.
Want to ride into deep left field, and this ball is gone. Falmouth is going to the Western Division Final.
Hello and welcome up into the Eric Palmer press box here at Gov Fuller Field. Danny LaRose joined alongside David Korzenowski as we are just about to get underway here between the Falmouth Commodores and the Wareham Gatemen. It's Wareham week, David. This is the first of 4 games in 4 days against the first place in the Western Division, Wareham Gatemen. And it's a doozy because this Wareham team, they're first place for a reason.
17-12-1. Best team batting average on the Cape at 290. They're low in strikeouts in 209. Next highest team is 233. So not only are they first in pretty much every offensive category, they are first by a lot. Looking through this order for the Wareham Gatemen, there is no signs of stopping 1 through 9. These guys can hit the ball.
They have 7 guys batting over 300, a handful of guys in the double digits in RBIs. I mean, the team leader, Zach Deloach, in RBIs for Falmouth, he's got 15. There are a bunch of guys who are hovering around 15 for Wareham. Their hitting is definitely their strongest suit. Their pitching sometimes falls back a little bit, as we'll now head into the pitching matchup for these two teams. It's Nick Nastrini on the hill for Falmouth. He's no stranger to facing great hitting teams. He's faced YD, the second team in batting average on the Cape, faced them once, and he's faced Katuitt twice. They're second place in the Western Division. On the other hand, for Wareham, it's going to be J.P. Gates, lefty from the University of Miami, typically a reliever for the Hurricanes, now a starter with the Gatemen with some mixed results.
Yeah, I'm going to look at Nastrini first because his last time out was his first loss of the summer. He only gave up 2 earned runs to Katuitt in 5 innings of work. He's very consistent, hasn't allowed more than 3 runs in 1 outing, and his best outing was against Katuitt the time before that on July 3rd. Pitched 5 innings, gave up just 1 solo home run, 3 hits, struck out 3. He's a guy that he's not going to shut out Wareham. No one can really do that.
Yeah.
But if he can limit Wareham's offense and give Falmouth a chance, I like how the doors stack up in this matchup.
Well, strikeouts is kind of going to be the name of the game for Falmouth. Wareham, not a team that strikes out a lot. They're last in the Cape in strikeouts. They strike out the least among all 10 teams. But if you're going to limit contact, don't let them make contact. That's the name of the game. I mean, this team, 1 through 9, like you said, all really lethal. And probably your best bet is just limiting anybody from getting on base because there's a lot less they can do. Maybe some long balls, but they're not too powerful of a team. Mostly just a lot of contact and a lot of situational hitting.
Exactly. It sounds simple, but you got to just prevent them hitting the ball in play. You got to strike them out whenever you can because, as you mentioned, Danny, they're not first in the Cape League in doubles or home runs. They're first in the league in batting average. They get guys on base and they bat them around. They like to put together long innings, get 5, 6, 7 guys up at the plate, score runs that way, and they do a tremendous job at that.
The man on the other end of the ball for Wareham is J.P. Gates, as we mentioned. His season stats, 0-2 record, but a 2.70 ERA. He has started every single game he's appeared in. This will be his 6th game and start. 13 1/3 innings of work, 11 strikeouts to only 3 walks. But like I said, some mixed results here and there. Against Harwich and Bourne in back-to-back starts to start off the month of July, he couldn't get out of the 4th, or he only got through 3 and some change, allowed a couple earned runs, 5 hits in each of those outings. So when he's letting up hits, I mean, again, seems simple, he's letting up a lot of runs. In his other outings, he's really limited the hits, 2 hits across multiple innings in those outings, and he's been a lot smoother.
I'm excited for this matchup, though, Danny. We haven't seen the Gatemen and the Commodores play since June 17th. Completely new teams, middle of the season, 2 of the best in the West Division, a rematch of the West Division final from last year. Should be a fun week.
So we'll head through the Wareham lineup, as that is Nick Nastrini on the mound warming up to his catcher Matt Nelson. Leading off for the Gatemen, Braden Ward. He's playing center. He's followed by Darren Baker, the second baseman. Jacob Teeter is batting third and playing first. Adrian Del Castillo will be doing the catching and batting in the cleanup spot. McLean follows him, playing third base and batting fifth. Then Dallas Beaver, the designated hitter, batting sixth. Matt Rudick is batting seventh and playing right field. He's followed by Stevens. And then Mike Antico out in left field from St. John's University. If you're going to point at one weak link in this lineup, it's got to be Antico. He's hit a little bit of a cold patch, but just about every single one of the rest of these 8 or 9 guys, they're in pretty hot stretches currently.
I mean, you pointed it out before the game when we were off the air. Dallas Beaver is your team leader in batting average. He's in the 6th spot. I mean, that just gives you a taste of how good this team is. Matt McClain, 17 RBIs. Jacob Teeter, 19. Adrian Del Castillo, 18 RBIs. Ward, 15. I mean, there is no break, and Nestrini's going to really have to be at his best today.
Nick Nestrini's last time out, as you mentioned, was against those Katuitt Kettleers. He pitched very well, got a no decision in the eventual 6-1 loss for the Commodores. Did get the loss. Only let up 2 runs, but got the loss. The bats weren't there for him. The bats are going to need to be there for him today, as even if he puts together a stellar start against this Wareham team, you never really know because they just hit the ball like no other. Seems like year after year, they're always an offensive powerhouse.
Yeah, and that's what I think is one of the coolest storylines is the success that Wareham has developed over the years, because they are becoming one of the best teams in the Cape League year in and year out. Right now they're first in the West Division, and they're trying to repeat.
Coming off of their 8th Cape Cod League championship, as here is Braden Ward leading off the ball game. The lefty shows bunt, takes a strike on the inside corner, and we are underway at 6:02 p.m. on this Tuesday night at Go Fuller Field. Braden from California, but plays for the Washington Huskies. An honorable mention all Pac-12 this past year, where he hit .321. The 0-1 from Nestrini. Breaking ball outside corner. That's a strike. Quickly 0-2.
Good start for Nestrini. This is what you got to do. Pound the strike zone, try to get up 0-2 and get that punch-out pitch going early.
Ward, working on a 4-game hit streak, has only struck out once in the last 5 games played, and he won't strike out on that pitch. It's a big curve that does not break. Count 1-2. Defensive alignment for the Commodores. Outfield left to right, Tim Tawa, followed by Blake Dunn, then Zach DeLoach. The infield, Steven Moretto at third, Trey Cruz at short, Hayden Cantrell at second, Taylor Smith playing first, Matt Nelson behind the plate. Here's the 1-2. Swung on and missed. That one's in the dirt. Nelson's going to go towards the inside grass, throw it onto first. 1 up, 1 down, thanks to a strikeout for Nestrini.
Now batting, the second baseman from the University
There you go.
of California, number 11.
Nice start for Nick Nestrini, guy who's been so outstanding this summer, a 4.15 ERA. And he's a guy who really has a lot of work that he can do this summer. It remains to be seen how long he'll stick around, but that workload during his freshman year at UCLA relatively low because of an injury.
His first pitch to Darren Baker is up and in. That's popped out towards the Wareham bullpen and falls out of play. Another Pac-12 foe in Darren Baker at the plate. He plays for the University of California out in Berkeley.
Son of Dusty Baker, who's in attendance here tonight.
True that. Dusty's been on the Cape a lot.
Quite a bit.
Retirement is serving him well.
Oh, yeah.
0-1 from Nestrini. That's a strike. Another pitch in the zone from Nick Nestrini. He's only fired 1 ball, and so far his strikes haven't really gotten too many swings, and when they have, not much going.
I think that was that lethal changeup that we see drop so quick at the plate. It's a fast changeup because he has so much velo.
0-2 is a fastball. Checking his swing is Baker. He did not go. Making that call was third base umpire Jeff Kinney. At first base is Larry Rosenberg, who we saw last night. Jeff Merzel is behind home plate calling the balls and strikes. Another 1-2 count, and here's the pitch. It's a fastball up and away.
Right now, Nestrini is really picking and pinning his spots. He wanted that fastball high and away to get a swing and a miss. Baker just didn't bite.
Count now even, and it will go full. Darren Baker, really good eye right now, watching a couple close pitches on the outside half, just barely miss. Baker on a 4-game hit streak himself, just like Ward. Payoff pitch, fouled away towards the opposite field.
He's a guy who doesn't walk a lot, just 7 on the summer. But he does have a pretty high strikeout number at 27. That leads the Gatemen squad.
He is batting .327, so doesn't hurt too much. Payoff pitch yet again from Nestrini. Breaking ball that's wasted away. So despite leading the team in strikeouts, he's really not going down easy right now.
He's putting up a great fight in this at-bat, working the pitch count up from Nastrini. That's what Wareham does, too. They get starters out of the game early.
3-2 again. Down and in, ball 4. Just like that, Darren Baker doing something that he rarely does this year. That's walk and working a really good count with 2 strikes against him.
All right, so this is when Wareham really likes to string together innings. Top of the order, you got a 303 hitter followed by a 283 hitter, then 310, 353.
Sheesh. Man at the plate is Jacob Teeter. He's the one hitting just a couple points above 300. Left-handed bat against the right-handed Nastrini. Takes a first pitch fastball on the outside corner. Teeter plays at Florida Southern College, originally from Melbourne, Florida.
Something that we didn't really hit on pregame. I'm interested to see how Wareham does after a day off.
Oh, yeah.
They did not play yesterday when Falmouth was on the road at Hyannis.
0-1 breaking ball misses away. Yeah, they were one of 2 teams. They and Orleans did not play yesterday on what was, for the most part, a makeup day for everybody else. A planned off day, but the rain not going according to plan. I'm sure Wareham is well rested. I'm sure Falmouth is jealous. Time is called by Teeter.
Wareham's last time out, they played a game out at Stony Brook Field against the Brewster Whitecaps, won 8-3. Baker, Teeter, and McLean each had 2 hits.
The 1-1. Swung on and missed. Another great off-speed pitch that he was well out ahead of.
Yeah, Nastrini's looking really good right now despite that walk, because it was on a handful of pitches to Baker. Baker just won the battle, but he goes back and attacks the zone against the 3-hitter, Teeter.
Another 1-2 count. That's now 3 straight batters who have faced 1-2 counts. As there's a ball taken off the plate, so the count now even. We've seen a lot of counts that Nastrini's gotten ahead in, but he's only been successful in one of them. Got the strikeout against Braden Ward, then walked Darren Baker after Baker was able to work a really lengthy count and make it full. Here's the 2-2. Runner is going. Swung on and missed up high, and Matt Nelson couldn't get a grip on the baseball. Probably would have had a play on Baker, as he's got a cannon, and Baker didn't have the best of jumps. But it's a wash anyway, and a strikeout.
Yeah, now with the second out by way of the K, you can focus on Del Castillo. Don't have to worry about the runner on base. Just get this batter out, and you win the inning.
Tough to just be able to focus on Del Castillo, knowing that there's a runner on second base and the cleanup man at the plate, especially a guy who at Miami led the team in RBIs as a freshman. He's got 18 so far this summer, but swings and misses at an off-speed pitch to get behind 0-1.
Something I like that Nastrini's doing, he's not doing first pitch fastball to these really good hitters.
Yeah.
He's going to that off-speed early. He starts with a changeup to Del Castillo. He knows how good these bats are. He's trying to keep them off balance the first time through the order, never mind the second.
Nastrini looks back. Baker now comes home. It's another off-speed pitch that sinks down below the knees. Count now even. Del coming off of a freshman year, like I said, that was pretty incredible. 331 average, 72 RBIs, was named an All-American. Here's the pitch. Outside for ball 2.
Perhaps an all-star snub here this summer.
He thinks so.
Beaver, Teeter, Ward. 3 of the 7 Wareham Gatemen named to the all-star team.
Which might be the reason why Del Castillo didn't get his name called. I asked him before the game, and I was expecting him to give me one of those typical athlete answers of,
Sure.
I just play the game day in, day out, whatever. And I go, I go, all-star snub? And he goes, absolutely. He's like, I should have been there. He said, I'm okay with the 2 days off. 3-1 now the count to the snub. Here's the pitch from Nastrini. Misses downstairs, ball 4. 2 walks on the top of the first inning, and Nastrini has gotten himself into a 2-out jam.
Nastrini had issued just 2 walks this summer. He has 2 in the first inning against Wareham, and that's one of the dangers when you try to pick your spots a little too carefully and get those strikeouts is if the batters take, they're going to put you into a tough spot. Right now, Nastrini is not pitching to contact, and it's showing.
Now stepping in is Matt McLean, right-handed bat from UCLA, a teammate of Nick Nastrini's. So we'll see how this one goes out in a Bruin Bowl.
Bruin Bowl.
This is our first Bruin Bowl I think we've seen all summer.
I think you're right.
And there's a lot of Bruins on the Cape. McLean, a rising sophomore at UCLA. Here's the 0-1. Down in the dirt. Great block by Nelson as he got really far away into that left-handed batter's box to keep that one in front of him.
I was going to say we know 2 Bruin pitchers on this Falmouth team, in Sean Mullen and Nick Nastrini. Not a lot of other UCLA Bruin pitchers that I can think of around the league. But one who was outstanding last year was on Wareham, Ryan Garcia, pick number 50 in the 2019 draft.
This guy at the plate knows something about being picked high as he lines one over towards short. It's a one-hopper. Trey Cruz with a glove flip on a backhand made that look fancy, and they'll go for the force out to retire the side. Wareham scores no runs on no hits, no errors. They do strand 2 on base thanks to a couple of walks, but Nastrini gets out of the jam. We'll head to the bottom of the first inning. It's 0-0 on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
What's donated here stays here. All blood that is donated to Cape Cod Healthcare stays on Cape Cod to help the lives of your friends, family, and neighbors. Learn more about donating blood, platelets, or hosting a blood drive at capecodhealth.org/blood center. Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
Welcome back to the Gov as we are set to begin the bottom of the first inning. And on your screen, you're seeing the Falmouth Commodores lineup with a beautiful picture of Tim Tawa and the cotton candy sky background we saw yesterday in Hyannis.
Yeah, that was one of the best that we saw. I was a little disappointed, and granted, this is such a nitpick, but Pope St. John Paul II High School, I believe I got that right,
yes,
in Hyannis. It's a big building, and it was blocking our view a little bit, but the sky was beautiful. You can see in that picture there Tim Tawa on the left, and that was one of the best sunsets we've seen all summer.
You get magnificent sunsets at Gulf-Fuller Field because you can see the whole thing, but we haven't seen one like that. But enough about the sunset. Let's look at today's batting order for the Commodores. It's pretty similar to what we typically see, but Hayden Cantrell and Blake Dunn inserted back into the lineup. They both were out of it, and that's probably the first time in like forever that both of them were out of the lineup at the same time.
Yeah, Cantrell, the consistent leadoff man. He's hitting .322 on the summer. I was thinking about this morning, Danny. Remember when Hayden Cantrell was like the leadoff guy and the cleanup guy practically with his stat line?
Yeah.
He's sort of settling back into that leadoff role as guys like DeLoach and Radcliffe behind him have picked up some of the power and extra base hits. Cantrell working a little bit longer counts as of late, some walks, and a lot of singles.
Yeah, he had like no walks early in the season. Takes a strike on the outside corner. That's another rare sight to see, but something that you typically see from leadoff hitters is Hayden loves to swing at the first pitch. This time he doesn't, and he does take it for a strike. He missed the last 2 games, just got some off days, maintenance days as they call them. 1-1 now the count. As Cantrell watches that one skip in the dirt. J.P. Gates, the left-hander from Brooksville, Florida. That's near the Tampa area. Here's the pitch. on the inside corner. Strike 2 called. He's really dotting those corners pretty well.
And he's working quickly, not letting Cantrell get comfy in the batter's box. He's already set to go on the 5th pitch.
Here it is. It's a breaking ball at the knees. Strike 3 called. Hayden knew it. He walks right back to the dugout as he goes down a victim of the backwards K.
Gates, a guy with pretty solid strikeout numbers. He has 11 this summer in 13 1/3 innings of work. Back at school in Miami, he had 18 walks and 18 Ks during his freshman year.
He had a really tough freshman year, on the mound at least. Showing bunt is Blake Dunn, but he takes a pitch outside. At the plate, he was awesome. 340 average as pretty much the everyday designated hitter, but he was the #1 pitcher from the state of Florida in his class, according to Perfect Game, which always has the most accurate standings I consider. But he didn't really have his best stuff. Over 20 appearances, had a 5.82 ERA. You mentioned those walk and strikeout numbers. The walks were his biggest problem, where he was letting guys get on base and then all of a sudden there'd be a hit. Here's a ground ball off of his own glove, rolls over to Darren Baker, and he makes up for it. Throw on to first is in time. A 1-4-3 putout for the second out of the inning.
Went off the end of Gates' glove, and sometimes you see that can make the ball die, sit on the grass behind, and then all of a sudden the middle infield has to go charging in. It was so hard hit by Dunn that it still got to Baker in plenty of time.
First pitch to the lefty, Zach DeLoach, is a breaking ball on the outside corner. Boy, does JP look like a very efficient pitcher right now.
I think we got a first, Danny. It's the first time I'm seeing a team really heavily shift.
Oh, boy, yeah, good catch. I said it yesterday that teams should start to shift against Taylor Smith, or that was 2 days ago. Typically the stats and the advanced stats and metrics and stuff like that, scouting reports, aren't that in-depth in the summer, but Jerry Weinstein's squad, they have it.
You got Darren Baker, the second baseman, playing in shallow right field. First baseman Jacob Teeter's back on the grass behind first, and the shortstop is on the right side of the infield.
2-1 pitch misses low to DeLoach, so after Gates starts off everybody with first pitch strikes and gets some early outs, he falls behind Zach DeLoach, 3 balls to no strikes.
And then Matt McLean, the third baseman, is in between where third and short usually play.
Here's the 3-1. Grounded over towards that opposite field side. Gates has to get off the mound, field it himself. The spin around throw to first in time. Impressive athletic play from the pitcher as he works a 1-2-3 inning. We will head to the top of the second. 0-0 your score.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 20-plus seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for elite baseball training and college recruiting assistance. They build more varsity starters, all-state athletes, and college and professional ball players than anyone else in the country. With over 1,000 events nationwide for players in middle school and high school and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development. Online at www.curry.edu.
The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Top of the second we go at Go Fuller Field with the Doors and the Gatemen scoreless. I'm excited for a good week of baseball, David, given how these two teams are playing. Falmouth at third place in the Western Division, but so close to those top two teams, Wareham and Katuitt. Of course, the Gatemen, they are winners of 5 of their last 6 games played, and they're such a good offensive team that this could really be an exciting stretch for both these sides. Even if it ends up in a split, it would still be entertaining games.
Well, I remember last year there was a similar story at the end of the season for these two teams. They played 3 nights in a row. the 25th, 26th, and 27th of July, and it came down to a battle for first.
Ball number 1 runs inside to the designated hitter Dallas Beaver.
And Wareham won 2 of those 3 games.
1-0 is loped out into center field. Sounded like a broken bat. Still goes a ways, and Blake Dunn makes the catch for the first out. Wareham kind of had Falmouth's number last year.
Yeah, they did. Regular season, it was split 3-3. Wareham played Falmouth in the home opener here at Gov Fuller Field, 1-7-4. They split the regular season series 3-3, but Wareham really got better as the season went on.
Yeah.
They meet in the Western Division Final. Wareham wins Game 1 at Spillane Field 3-1. Cape Cod pitcher of the year last year, Adam Lasky, got tagged for a couple runs in the loss.
First pitch fastball down the middle to Matt Rudick.
And then Game 2 back here at Gov Fuller Field. The final game at home, and they lost 7-4 to the Wareham Gatemen.
Baseball's funny sometimes. 0-1, fouled back into the fence. 0-2 now the count. But then the snow came, Christmas came, the snow went, the leaves turned, and it's a new season all over again. Falmouth trying to bounce back with, that's the funny thing about the Cape also, is that completely new ball club.
Right.
I mean, really only Hayden Cantrell can remember. Austin Langworthy as well can really recall maybe some of the heartbreak they felt late in the season last year. That ball misses just below the knees.
I don't know. Wareham has a different kind of presence here in Falmouth, though, because they also knocked Falmouth out of the playoffs in 2017.
Yeah.
Casey Mize, #1 pick in 2018, pitched an absolute gem in that series.
1-2 fouled away. So these, and another thing, we were talking about this back in June, is that the Gatemen, you know, they're the defending champions, Cape League champions, but very few of these guys, if any, are defending champions themselves.
Correct.
Not even Jerry Weinstein, because he was the coach for Katuitt last year. So the organization can say that they're the defending champs, but the players can't brag about it too much. 1-2, foul tipped just off the glove of Nelson as he couldn't squeeze it for strike number 3.
Nelson frustrated with himself that he couldn't squeeze and help Nastrini get his 3rd punch-out.
Matt Rudick, who plays for the San Diego State Aztecs. A lot of short hitters on this team. He stands at 5'9". Matt McLean also stands at 5'9". Swings and misses at a outside fastball. Quickly 2 up and 2 down for Nastrini in the second.
Retired 3 in a row now. Pitching to contact a little bit more against the bottom of the order.
Chad Stevens will now step up to the plate. He's playing short for the Gatemen in this ball game. Big 6'4" righty from the University of Portland. Draft pick of the San Diego Padres back in 2017. Does play his baseball on the West Coast now. Made the trip all the way out east against another West Coast guy in Nastrini. This Wareham team always has a lot of Western guys.
Yeah, they do. As we mentioned, sometimes these teams form relationships with certain colleges.
Always remember Jeremy Idens from UCLA played for Wareham, and he was a pretty high draft pick as well. I think he went on the first day. Would have been a teammate of Nick Nastrini's if he didn't end up signing that deal. 1-1. Definitely went around, did Stevens. Great pitch from Nick as his breaking ball is really looking sharp.
It is, and Stevens is a guy who's also hot at the plate despite being at that 8 spot. He has hits in 4 of his last 5 games. He's not starting as consistently for Wareham, but he was 2 for 3 his last time out.
1-2 is way outside. They have a lot of hits in recent ball games. Would have hitting streaks, save an off day here and there. Also, don't strike out a lot. Like we mentioned, they're the team that has the lowest strikeouts in the league. Stevens, only 1 K in his last 4 games. As he lines this into center field, Dunn coming on, but he'll have to take it on a hop. It is a hit, and the first hit of the ball game belonging to Chad Stevens with 2 outs in the second.
He's now got hits in 5 of his last 6. He was really good when he started against Brewster in a home win. That ended up being a walk-off against the Whitecaps on July 12th. Scored 2 runs. He gets a board for the 9-man. Good piece of hitting as well. He just took a fastball back into center field. Didn't try to crush the ball. No chance for Dunn.
Now it'll be Mike Antico, the left fielder. He's the one cold guy in this lineup. Swings and misses at a first pitch down below the knees. He's 0 for his last 7, only 2 for his last 11, whereas everybody else has been hitting at a fervent clip over the last couple of games.
Antico, a rising senior with St. John's.
Shorter trip for him than many of his teammates. St. John's is a pretty solid ball club themselves. Made the NCAA regional round a couple years back in 2018. Out of the Big East, that's becoming a little bit of a powerhouse in the North. It's got some good teams highlighting it, and the Red Storm are one of them. Here's the 1-1 to the lefty. It is flown out into right field. That one is shallow. Cantrell going back. He'll be called off by Deloach, who makes the catch in shallow right field. That will retire the side in the top of the second inning. As the Gatemen put 4 up to the plate, only one of them gets on with a single. No runs scored, no errors, and they leave that man on base. We go to the bottom of the second inning. 0-0 between the Doors and the Gatemen.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. Please remember to recycle your empty bottles, cans, and all other recyclable materials. It takes only 6 recycled plastic bottles to make a new baseball cap. Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Home second we go at Gov Fuller Field as the Commodores, tough to talk today, Commodores will be led off by Trey Cruz, their cleanup man. He's followed by Taylor Smith and Barron Radcliffe.
A couple of the hotter hitters in Cruz and Radcliffe. Nobody's swinging a hotter bat right now than Trey Cruz.
He has been unbelievable lately. Takes a first pitch ball from Gates.
And I don't think it's just the 6-game hit streak that impresses me. It's how well he's done even when the rest of the team has struggled.
Yeah.
Only 6 hits last night for the Commodores. He had a couple.
The 1-0 to the switch hitter is swung on and missed. Beautiful changeup by Gates.
And in a game against Yarmouth Dennis in which the Commodores had only 2 hits, he had both of them. A couple singles and stolen bases against the Red Sox.
Takes that pitch down and in. JP, like you said in the first inning, really working at a quick pace. He knows what he wants to throw. He's been feeling it this summer. We mentioned that ERA at 270. The 2-1. Breaking ball clubbed out into left field. Antico is back at the track, and he will make the catch, reaching up over his shoulder. Trey Cruz gave it a ride, but just got a little bit under it.
Yeah, Cruz can't believe that one didn't get down. Gates retired 4 in a row. He is pitching to contact. There's now 2 groundouts and a flyout. One thing I noticed, I don't want to call him wild, but he's a little bit herky-jerky in his motion, and he pounds that ball when he comes in the windup. You'll see it actually hit his glove when he's about midway through his windup.
Lifts those arms back over his neck, and you're right, kind of.
He brings his, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like he's clapping his fists together.
Very subtle, but whatever works for him, I guess. Definitely worked in high school and in his recruiting. 1-0 to Taylor Smith, lined into left field for a base hit. Taylor Smith only with his 2nd single of the summer. He pulls it past the diving third baseman, and that's the first hit and base runner of the ball game for the Doors.
Now batting, the designated hitter from
Took a first pitch ball, knew that Gates, a guy who hasn't gotten behind in many counts, was going to come back across the middle, most likely with a fastball. Smith is so good at starting his swing early and squaring those up. That's why he can take some of these pitchers deep. He's got 5 home runs on the year. He's got a very powerful swing.
Prior to that at bat, he was 2 for his last 15, but he's looking good now. Check swing from Radcliffe. They're going to appeal to second, no dice, 1-0, as we're seeing another shift from Wareham. Didn't see it against Smith. Thought they might throw it over towards left field because he hasn't hit anything opposite field all summer.
Yeah.
But they're doing it against Radcliffe. Pickoff move. Nothing doing, as that was an interesting one. It was a snap throw, and Jacob Teeter wasn't even standing on the base. Here's the pitch. Knee-high fastball for a strike. That's really strange how they're holding him on at first. Teeter doesn't have a foot planted on the base. He's standing square with his feet, aligned with each other, just staring straight towards second base, and then comes off the bag.
We mentioned when we had those games against Katuitt, Mike Roberts, a very hands-on coach with the Kettleers. Weinstein, much of the same in his first year at the helm in Wareham. A lot of in-game adjustments. Sweats the details quite a bit.
Another pickoff move, but the catcher Smith doubt he's going. Barron Radcliffe has a huge hole on the left side of the infield. With the lone man over there, the third baseman Matt McLean playing pretty far off the bag. And nobody in the left center gap. Here's the pitch. Down and away for a strike.
I do want to go back to Gates' delivery, though. Because for the most part, what you're taught as a pitcher is the less moving parts, the better.
Right. This one is batted out into deep center field. Braden Ward is there. He camps under it and makes the catch. A couple of loud outs off of the bats in the middle of the lineup for the Commodores, but 2 outs and only a runner on first.
And I'm wondering if that's something that he's changed from senior year to freshman year at Miami to now.
Well, I don't have the best memory, and I didn't see JP pitch all too that much at Miami because, again, he was used mostly as a designated hitter. But I feel like when we saw him, he was a lot more mechanical and everything was so kind of robotic. It might have led to some of his failures at the mound. Again, that ERA just under 6, and now he's a little bit looser. It's maybe not a pitching coach's dream to see a pitcher so herky-jerky and loose, but he's hitting his spots definitely. Doesn't hit that one as he goes high to Matt Nelson.
Because it's not like he's struggled with command this summer, really. Only 3 walks allowed in 5 appearances.
The 1-0 to his old high school buddy taken outside. Nelson and Gates, when the Gateman bus rolled up, were talking for a long time with each other, both of them Tampa natives. JP Brooksville, Nelson Largo. But if you were to ask them and you're not from Florida, they would just say, I'm from Tampa.
Right. We've seen so much talent from the Sunshine State. Franco Aleman, outstanding pitcher for Falmouth, also from the Tampa area, pitched 7 scoreless innings last night.
2-0 as Nelson loses his bat and it goes flying into the Wareham dugout. Couple of players bolted away from that, nearly hit our FCTV cameraman over there. But I think everybody's okay, and Matt is definitely going to get some more pine tar.
Ay. That one nearly took off the head of Tora Atsuka, who is standing on the far right end of the Wareham dugout. He's smiling right now, and he's pointing towards where that bat landed. Matt Nelson with the kind of cringe and the, oh boy, what did I just do, as he looked back to the Wareham side after that.
We've seen a couple of bats get thrown, but none that accurately.
No, I mean, that one nearly took some heads off, seriously.
2-1 coming home, and it's a breaking ball for a strike at the knees of Nelson. He's pretty desperate for a hit. .56 batting average on the summer as he's only 1 for 18.
Yeah.
His lone hit coming a couple days ago, it was a single. 2-2 from Gates. Fouled back into the fence.
So Wareham, I think, only shifting against some of the bigger names and some of the guys with some bigger power in Deloach and Radcliffe.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
A lot of the times when we see Deloach hit home runs, they go to right field. When he hits groundouts, they usually go to the right side. 2-2. Fouled off the mitt. And that one will roll away. Not a strikeout, as Del Castillo couldn't squeeze it. This is another interesting tidbit, is that Gates and Del Castillo, both teammates down at Miami, and Del Castillo able to catch his teammate. Might lend to some benefits for the pitcher Gates.
Trey Cruz nearly caught that foul ball with his right hand. Frustrated with himself for not making the play.
Well, I saw them. They were hitting soft ground balls to third base. They had all the infielders lined up at third base, and they were trying their best to make the coolest, slickest throw. They were tossing it between their legs and everything. He's got good hands, Trey does. Swing and a miss, strike 3 on a pitch down in the dirt. Del Castillo digs it out. Nelson took a weird route over towards first base, and he's thrown out nonetheless. So a second strikeout of the ball game coming for Gates, this time against his friend Nelson. And the Doors go down, scoring no runs on one hit, no errors, and stranding a runner on first. To the third we go, still scoreless.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 20-plus seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for elite baseball training and college recruiting assistance. They build more varsity starters, all-state athletes, and college and professional ball players than anyone else in the country. With over 1,000 events nationwide for players in middle school and high school and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more.
What's donated here stays here. All blood that is donated to Cape Cod Healthcare stays on Cape Cod to help the lives of your friends, family, and neighbors. Learn more about donating blood, platelets, or hosting a blood drive at capecodhealth.org/bloodcenter.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development, online at www.curry.edu.
Top of the third we go from Gov Fuller Field. Danny LaRose, David Korzanowski here in the press box at Arnie Island Diamond at Gov Fuller Field for this 0-0 game between the Doors and the Gatemen. So far, through the first two, pretty even. No runs, each team with a hit, neither team with an error. Top of the lineup will lead things off for Wareham. Braden Ward, Darren Baker, Jacob Teeter. Two of those guys struck out, one being Ward, one being Teeter.
It's early, but so far we got what we came for. Close game. They look very even right now. Gates right now looking a little bit better than Nastrini, but really the only reason that they're already back to the leadoff man were those walks in the first inning.
Nastrini walked 2 in the first inning, then let up a single in the second, but nobody has gotten across. Braden Ward is a guy that you definitely don't want to let get on base. He hasn't walked in 3 straight games, which is a good sign, but he has been hitting a lot. He's at that leadoff position for a reason. He scores a lot of runs and steals a lot of bases. Here's the 0-1 from Nick, down and in.
Ward, a Washington Husky, rising junior. 321 batting average, 62 hits, 26 RBIs during his sophomore year. All Pac-12 honorable mention.
Here's the 1-1. Fastball roped right at Hayden Cantrell, who was positioned perfectly for it. A line out to second base to start us off.
The second baseman from the University of California, number 11, Darren.
That's a good at-bat from Ward. I mean, he moves to 0 for 2, but you get great contact. That was strong enough to get into the shallow outfield, but Hayden Cantrell just barely had to move a muscle. I mean, if he's 2 or 3 feet to one side or the other, that one's getting past him.
First pitch to Darren Baker is another big swing from him and a miss. He fell behind 1-2 in his first at-bat, worked the count full, had a couple foul balls, worked the longest at-bat that we've seen from anybody this ball game, ended up reaching with a walk. 0-1 at the belt for a strike.
Baker, one of those few members who was on the 2018. Oh, excuse me. He was with Brewster last year. That's right.
Was he? I
He
don't
was.
remember that. 0-2 to the former Brewster Whitecap. Line foul.
Because what I was about to say was he was one of the few 2018 Wareham gatemen, but I remember Commodores playing against Darren Baker and the Whitecaps at home. That's when we had that long conversation. He was the bat boy who was nearly killed in the World Series.
I'm sure if he were to watch any stream from anyone this summer, he would have heard that a ton of times.
I'm sure.
Probably the biggest talking point on Darren Baker's life so far, but he's putting together a pretty good baseball career. Rising junior hits this one right back up the middle and has his first hit of the ball game. He has now reached base twice, and he's looking hot lately.
The first baseman from Florida Southern College.
Yeah, good piece of hitting from Baker. Similar to Chad Stevens, just put it right back up the middle.
Darren now has a 5-game hitting streak and hits in 11 of his last 13 games played. Like I said, putting together a pretty good baseball career, especially this summer. Now Jacob Teeter will try to do something with a runner on first base. Last time he came up, Baker was on first, and he struck out swinging. That was also with 1 out. Nastrini from the stretch lifts and fires. First pitch breaking ball called strike at the knees by Jeff Merzell. Teeter only has hits in 2 of his last 8 games played. They're all for multiple hits, so it's kept his average high. He's just around 300. Watches another ball, that one below the knees.
Nastrini, 2 off-speed pitches to start the count to Teeter. Looks like he went with the slider on the outside part of the plate and then the changeup.
It's very rare that we see a pitcher throw more first pitch breaking balls than fastballs, but that's what Nastrini's been doing all game long. Only a handful of at-bats in which he started off the opposing hitters with some heat. Look at this. Teeter's looking at a play on his wrist like a quarterback. Tell me Jerry Weinstein doesn't have some gamesmanship. The coach who's been just about everywhere, now coaching up Wareham, doing a pretty good job of it. Strike fired just on the inside black, 1-2.
I think we're seeing a lot of the stops being pulled out by Wareham. And again, this is a team we haven't seen much, so for all we know, they've been doing this all summer.
I'm sure they have. He's got a whole playbook on his right wrist.
Right.
I mean, that is more than most school teams even do. 1-2. On the outside corner, strike 3 called. That wasn't written up on the playbook. Goes down as a second strikeout against Teeter.
Yeah, he didn't like the call. Outside black. Thought it was a pretty good spot from Nastrini.
Yeah.
Tried to get the swing from Teeter, but he also left it close enough to the zone, or on the zone, I should say, that he could get the punch out looking as well.
Yeah, got a nice frame from Matt Nelson as well. Again, those pitches that might be 2 to 3 inches off the plate with 2 strikes, typically got to swing at them if you're a hitter, really at any stage of the game. Adrian Del Castillo will have to wait for the first pitch of his second at-bat as there's a pickoff move over to first. Del Castillo walked in his first plate appearance. Batting .283 on the summer, 4 home runs, 18 RBIs for the cleanup man. Here's the pitch. Bopped up and foul along the left side.
Big cut from Del Castillo. Looked like a home run type swing, just a good spot again from Nastrini. He really hasn't missed very much, and again, this game moving really quickly, as we've seen a handful of pitchers duels, at least to start the game the past few nights.
Saw a pitcher's duel all the way last night, 2-0 win for Falmouth. That ball misses high. Wareham, meanwhile, they clobbered Brewster, won 8-3. It was another pitcher's duel in that game for the longest time, but then Wareham pulled away and started pouring it on late. The Gatemen, like I mentioned, winners of 5 of their last 6. Here's the 1-1, misses up high. Falmouth, on the other hand, they were red hot just about a week ago, winning 6 of their last 7. Since then, have cooled off significantly as they bounced back from a minor losing streak yesterday. They lost back-to-back games before getting back on the right track versus Hyannis. 2-1 to Del Castillo. Runner is going. Throw down to second. Not caught by Trey Cruz. Would have been a close play regardless, but Darren Baker gets another stolen base thanks to the miscue.
I thought they had Baker. Just a little bit of a low throw. Put an extra foot on that. You probably get the foot of Darren Baker. Feet first slide. Not often you see that on trying to steal second base.
So the speedy Baker on second yet again. The 2-2 to Del Castillo, down and in, but a great block by Nelson as he's shown off a handful of those, keeping runners at bay every time.
Man, how good are these three catchers for Falmouth?
Yeah.
Nelson, Clonch, and Taylor Smith at blocking balls.
Full count to Del Castillo, who's already walked once in this ball game, as he swings at the 3-2 pitch and shoots it foul. Adrian Del Castillo, a catcher himself. He's doing the catching for Wareham in this ball game, the former #1 catcher from the state of Florida. In his senior year of high school, this was in Miami-Dade County, so pretty good baseball being played. He hit .530 against some of the nation's best high schoolers. Payoff pitch. Another foul ball.
And this is what Wareham does so well, too. They work the pitch count up. We mentioned it earlier, but Nastrini is already at 59 pitches, looking at about 20 per inning. That's a recipe to be out of the game by the end of the fourth.
And Adrian does not strike out either, so it's really hard to put him down right now. Only 24 Ks to 32 walks in his freshman year. That's one of those rare hitters who has more walks than strikeouts. Nastrini trying to do the opposite. Here's the payoff pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike three. He does just that as Del Castillo goes down on a high fastball. Nastrini gets out of the inning, allowing no runs on one hit, no errors, and stranding a runner on second base, getting back-to-back Ks to cap off the inning. We head to the bottom of the third. 0-0 on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 20-plus seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for elite baseball training and college recruiting assistance. They build more varsity starters, all-state athletes, and college and professional ball players than anyone else in the country. With over 1,000 events nationwide for players in middle school and high school and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Home third, led off by Steven Moretto. He's followed by Tim Tawa. Then we're back to the top of the order as the Commodores still yet to go through their lineup for the first full time. Moretto swings the first pitch from Gates, fouls it away. 3 hitters up to the plate in the first, 4 up to the plate in the second. Wareham, on the other hand, through 3 innings. They've already gotten halfway through the lineup the second time. Here's the 0-1. Down and away to Moretto, the British Columbia native who plays his baseball with Sacramento State. Steven only has 1 game of his last 7 with hits. That came against Brewster, had a 3-hit game against the Whitecaps. Otherwise, it's been all zeros for him lately.
But I think that 3-hit game was really great for him. Up to that average, back to 200. He was hovering around 140 before that. Had his first 3-hit game of the summer and his first home run.
1-1 breaking ball on the outside corner. Strike 3 called. Late punch out from Jeff Merzel, but Moretto goes down looking.
The left fielder from Stanford University.
And that's been one of his biggest bugaboos is the strikeouts. He's a guy who has gotten K'd up quite a bit this summer with 19 now.
Tim Tawa will step up to the plate. He's a guy who doesn't strike out a lot. His first game in 6 straight with a strikeout came just a day ago. So he's normally putting the ball in play, but more often than not, he's not getting on base, unfortunately. 0 for his last 7. 0-1 to the Stanford Cardinal, batting .208 is fouled away.
Tawa's one of a handful of batters for the Commodores who was really hot when the team won 6 of 7 and the runs were coming in. Like Blake Dunn's another guy who jumps to mind. And Tim Tawa was having his best week of the summer, but now they've kind of gone quiet again.
0-2, taken up and away. Appeal down to first. Definitely not. 1-2. It's a good point. Seems like those two guys were at their best when they had guys on base to hit in and when the team was doing well around them. Swing and a miss on a ball down in the dirt. Del Castillo scoops it out, goes to the inside, and throws out Tawa. Now 3 straight strikeouts for J.P. Gates, and 4 in a row retired.
I think that the consistency is the next that has to come for Falmouth, because before this it was power, and the power has come. Deloach exploding now with 4 home runs. Radcliffe with 3 in his last 4 games.
Cantrell takes a first pitch ball.
So they know they can do it, right? It's just about putting those games together and making them consistent. Of course, you're going to have off nights, but you don't want to put together 4 straight games not scoring a lot of runs, which is what they're in the middle of doing.
Hayden lines this one foul, as you're right, all of a sudden the bats have really just calmed down. They had a 15-6 win over Chatham a couple days ago. Came back 2 days later after a rainout in between. Got shut out by Yarmouth Dennis 7-0. Strike taken at the knees, 1-2.
So this is a team that scored 5 runs in their last now 3 1/3 games. That was as many as they scored in 1 inning against the Anglers.
Right, exactly. Just very on and off. 1-2, a real low pitch, and somehow Cantrell makes contact to stay alive. That's the weirdest thing that I noticed is, again, you put up 15 runs against Chatham, and they're one of the best teams on the Cape.
Right,
then in the next couple of games, it's been pretty low. Even against Hyannis yesterday, one of the worst pitching team on the Cape, only 2 runs. Gates' 1-2 from the windup is rocketed into left field. Antico's back at the track, but this one's going to stay in the ballpark for out number 3. Hayden almost had it, nearly had his 4th home run of the summer, but Mike Antico was able to line it up, and J.P. Gates gets out of the inning, allowing no runs on no hits, no errors, and didn't let anybody get on base. So 1-2-3 inning for J.P. Gates. As this pitcher's duel continues, we are entering the 4th inning. Still 0-0, only 3 hits total. Wareham with 2, Falmouth with 1.
Yeah, the pitchers have looked great, especially J.P. Gates. And right now, Wareham does look like the better team. They're putting together better at-bats, working the pitch count up from Nastrini. But 0-0, they're keeping it in the game.
Now let's welcome in the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Katie Florio, with an interview from head coach Jeff Trundy. Katie.
Thanks, guys. I'm now joined on the field with head coach Jeff Trundy and coach Taylor Smith with the only hit for Falmouth through the first 3 innings. What adjustments do you feel your offense needs to make in order to get more guys on and move them around?
Well, I think we got to battle when we're down in the count. You know, the kids throwing strikes and getting ahead early, and we're just going to have to look for something good early on to get on and then continue to compete when we do get down in the count. He's pitching very, very well, making it hard on us right now, but, you know, we've hit a couple balls hard. Hopefully we put a couple of good bats together.
Nick Nastrini has only given up 2 hits through these first 3 innings. How would you assess his performance?
I think Nick's given us his usual competitive, outing. His pitch count's a little bit higher than I'd like, but, he's battled and competing, and everything he throws, is a competitive pitch. So, hey, Nick's always going to give us his best.
Thank you, Coach. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Katie, and thank you, Coach Trundy, for those very honest answers. He's a very genuine guy, very honest with us. Said J.P. Gates is throwing good pitches, and they just got to battle when they're down in counts, limit his strikeouts. Meanwhile, Nick Nastrini, been a lot of the same, a little more contact from Nick, but both of them looking really sharp.
And he hit on the pitch count, too. I think that's the biggest thing right now for Nick Nastrini. A quick inning here would be huge.
Nastrini will have to face the middle of the lineup, Matt McLean, followed by Dallas Beaver and Matt Rudick. First pitch to McLean is taken down and away. Matt grounded out into a 6-4 fielder's choice to cap off the first inning. Righty from UCLA batting just above 300, coming into today at 310 as he watches a big breaker come across about knee high.
So Nastrini won the first battle between teammates as McLean grounded out in the fielder's choice to end the first inning.
This is Bruin Bowl Part 2.
Oh, yeah.
Count is 2-1 in favor of McLean after a breaking ball missed somewhere. Here's the pitch. Did he go around on the low and away pitch? Yes, he did, as Jeff Merzell doesn't even try to appeal down to Rosenberg. It was obvious McLean went around. Count now even. Usually when we've seen teammates go up against each other, the hitters might not have the edge. They get out more frequently, but they put together pretty strong at-bats and get a lot of solid contact. As there's some solid contact into left field, and it will fall for a hit. So the script continues in that regard as Matt McLean lined that one up perfectly. It seemed like he knew exactly what was coming from Nastrini on 2-2.
Yeah, he probably did. 3 hits now for the Wareham Gatemen, and they look very similar, Danny. First hit of the game was Matt Ruddick up the middle into center field. It landed in front of Blake Dunn. Then a single from Darren Baker that skipped on the infield into center as well. But again, I think it's something we hit on earlier. They don't rely on the long bomb. It's not like a Katuitt team that's going to take you yard a couple times. They're going to try to string together singles. What Nastrini's done well is getting out of jams when he allows base runners.
First pitch, breaking ball on the outside corner, strike number 1 to Dallas Beaver. These teams have played once before. It's not like they are totally strangers. Falmouth won that matchup 8-5, but it came all the way back on June 19th. Swing and a miss, Beaver taking a huge hack at a low pitch, and the team leader in batting average is now down 0-2.
Beaver had a really good first at bat as well as he flew out into center field on a piece of really hard contact.
He had a 6-game hitting streak snapped last night. Trying to get back on track. Nastrini's 0-2. Just got a piece of it and fouled it back.
And even when Nastrini is getting these punch-outs, they're not easy, right? They're fouling off with 2 strikes so often they don't go down easily.
I mean, like Jeff Trundy said, it's part of the reason why Nastrini's pitch count is so high. He's
Right.
looking great, but he's had to throw a lot of pitches because of these Wareham hitters. There is an arm warming up in the Falmouth bullpen. Looks like Caleb Worster. It is Caleb Worster. He's just getting stretched out, so this will be Nastrini's inning as long as he doesn't run into any big rough patches. Definitely want Nastrini to go longer than 4 when you're playing Wareham, but I guess you'll take what you can get.
No question.
Huge lead off of first base as now Nastrini looks back towards second. He thought that he had already taken off for second, so he was going to throw down to that base, see if they could get him out. But Matt McLean was just dancing all over the place, and he was doing suicides out on that first base line.
I mean, he made it probably a third of the way to second base before he put on the brakes.
He's not going. Broken bat lined over towards short. Trey Cruz on a backhand throw onto second for 1. On to first. Double play. How about that from Trey Cruz and company as they make that one look easy on what could have been a single.
Could have been a single, and off the bat, I thought it was going to be a single because running was Matt McLean towards second base. Trey Cruz was moving over towards second to cover the bag. All of a sudden, broken bat, it sounded like, towards the left side of the field. Cruz has to completely stop, changes momentum. I didn't know if he was going to get to the ball.
I didn't think he was.
And when he got there, I didn't know if he was going to go to first or second. He goes to Cantrell. They're helped out by Beaver's lack of speed, but a huge, huge double play to clear the bases.
Helps quicken the inning a little bit for Nastrini if he can get this final out to keep his pitch count low. He fires a strike to Rudick. Also a little bit of luck because of the broken bat, too. I mean, if that's solid contact, that's probably an easy single into left. McLean was doing a great job on the base paths, throwing off the infielders and Nastrini, but doesn't work out. as they are able to get him at second and then Beaver at first, as Matt Rudick now, who's already struck out once in this ball game, now facing an 0-2 count. Rudick batting about 247 on the summer. 3 home runs, 11 RBIs for the left-hander. Here's the 0-2. Ground ball towards the right side, but that one is well foul. Rudick has reached base in 9 straight games played. So even at the 7-hole, Wareham has in pretty arguably a leadoff man. Seems to get on base and a lot of walks. Sparing hits with that small average. 0-2, down and in.
I love how 247 puts you in the 7 spot on Wareham, whereas in the Cape League, that's a really good average.
Yeah, that's like the lower bottom half of the entire league. If you're looking at like teams 5 through 10 are batting around 250. The Gatemen, though, we mentioned it before, have a bevy of hitters batting over 300. Counted 7 total. I'll have to check again to see how many of those guys have registered a lot of at-bats, but it was a significant amount of them, as we've seen over the course of this ball game. Nestrini's 1-2. Swung on and fouled off the glove of Nelson. That might have been the slightest of tips.
Yeah, I didn't see it tip or hear it, but Nelson didn't put up a fight, neither did Nastrini, so that's how you know that probably did graze the bat.
Nastrini trying to keep this game scoreless and get out of the top of the 4th inning unscathed. The 1-2. Breaking ball, Rudick does go around, says third base umpire Jeff Kinney. Boy, was not expecting that one, but Nastrini gets the strikeout nonetheless. He faces the minimum despite allowing a leadoff hit thanks to the double play. No runs are scored on the 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. To the bottom of the 4th we go on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 20-plus seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for elite baseball training and college recruiting assistance. They build more varsity starters, all-state athletes, and college and professional ball players than anyone else in the country. With over 1,000 events nationwide for players in middle school and high school and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more. The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Welcome back to Go Fuller Field as we begin the bottom of the 4th inning. Still 0-0 in this pitcher's duel. Boy, have we seen a lot of pitcher's duels over the last couple of ball games. Blake Dunn will try to break out of that as he leads off the 4th inning. He's followed by Deloach and Cruz, so getting back towards the middle of the lineup for Falmouth against J.P. Gates, who's been dominant. First pitch swinging is Dunn as he ropes it up the third base line. That one will be cut off by Antico in left, but Dunn's going to try to stretch it into 2. The throw into second. Not in time. He slides around the tag from Darren Baker. It's a stretch double to lead off the inning for Blake Dunn.
That is a gutsy turn from Blake Dunn. Usually you see those hard hit balls up the line, and they do stretch into 2. But a great read by Antico out in left. He gets to the ball immediately. But Blake Dunn rounded first, knowing that he was gunning for second. He didn't even wait to see where Antico was. Ended up almost biting him as the throw was in almost in time. I think the throw kind of was in time.
I think the ball beat him, but he slid around the tag.
Yeah. That's a great way to put it because he had a beautiful slide as well.
Zach Deloach now shows bunt but pulls it back. That's when you know that both teams know they're in a pitcher's duel, is when the Cape League leader in average and your team leader in RBIs is ready to throw down a bunt with a runner on second. Also helps that there's a giant shift against him, and he's got pretty much all of the left side open. Shows bunt again, pulls it back, 2 balls and no strikes.
I like this approach from DeLoach. They're going to shift on you, then you show bunt, try to rattle the pitcher. All of a sudden you're playing mind games and you turn the script on them.
There's a huge gap in left field. I mean, even between Antico and Ward, the left fielder and the center fielder, that left center gap is just colossal. Falmouth with their first real chance of the ball game. This is the first time they've had a runner in scoring position, and we're in the 4th. Here's the 2-0. DeLoach gets it down, but it trickles foul. Zach with 15 RBIs on the summer. That leads the team. A .392 batting average coming into the ball game. That led the Cape. Had a hit last night as he gets this one down and fielded perfectly by Del Castillo. High throw down to third, not in time. Again, Blake Dunn able to get ahead of the tag as it looked like that high throw over towards third was just enough to get him safe.
Wow, another play where I thought Blake Dunn was dead to rights because it was immediately fielded by Del Castillo, and he went over to third, just a high throw. Matt McLean had to jump a little bit, and Dunn on those head-first slides. I mean, sometimes you don't give enough credit to guys when they make plays like that, but he has been outstanding, getting low, getting his hands outstretched, and getting to the bag quickly.
When he can get on base, he wreaks havoc because he's got all that speed. Hasn't gotten on base a lot recently, as entering that at bat, he was in maybe the worst stretch of his summer, was 1 for his last 21. Now he's on third after a double and a DeLoach bunt, as the first pitch is taken down and away by Trey Cruz. That one goes down as a fielder's choice for DeLoach, so no hit.
And you get the hottest batter on the team, Trey Cruz, up at the plate, who had a loud first out to deep left field.
That would probably score Dunn if he hit it now. Smacks this over towards the right side, and it's foul.
Police parking lot. Please do not attempt to gain entry to retrieve any foul balls. Thank you.
Trey Cruz bats in the cleanup spot, but doesn't really have a ton of power. Only 1 home run. Does have 15 RBIs. That's tied with DeLoach for the team lead. Another opportunity to rack some up, as there's a reason he's in the cleanup hole for those RBIs. Gates has looked back DeLoach a couple times. Now he'll come home, and he misses down and away.
And I know we harped a lot on Nestrini's pitch count, but at the end of the day, he keeps the Wareham Gatemen off the board,
right?
Which is exactly what you need to do for an opportunity like this. You got runners in scoring position on the corners, and all of a sudden you're putting the pressure on Wareham.
2-1, broken bat into center field for a base hit. DeLoach is on second. Dunn is crossing home plate with the first run of the ball game coming in the 4th inning, thanks to Trey Cruz.
I really hope our photographer got a picture of that bat that was literally speared into the grass. The bat head was up at an angle. It looked like a stake holding down a tent. It gets out into left center field, but that was unbelievable.
That was the entire top half, the entire barrel of the bat flown into the grass on the left side. Luckily, it didn't reach any infielders. Could have caused some harm. Jerry Weinstein, the head coach, was the pitching coach for Katuitt last year, so he's going to make the mound visit and talk things over with Gates and his infield. JP had allowed 1 hit prior to this inning, then allowed a leadoff double to Blake Dunn. Zach DeLoach reached on a fielder's choice because of a bunt play that went awry for Wareham, followed up by a Trey Cruz single, who extends his hitting streak now to 7 games.
Yeah, he's been awesome.
We'll see if he can get another multi-hit game going.
That'd be good.
Again, like we mentioned, had a 6-game hitting streak entering today, and 5 of them were 2 hits exactly. He's already 1 for 2, and he's made good contact both times. Taylor Smith, the home run machine, will come up to the plate now after the mound visit between Weinstein, Gates, and the infield. Smith with 5 home runs. That leads the team, and he's got 2 ducks on the pond. Pickoff move to second. DeLoach in there.
So Gates' second time through the order, he's run into a little bit more trouble against guys like Dunn, DeLoach, and Cruz.
Left a lot more pitches over the middle of the plate when before he had pinpoint accuracy to the corners. Smith is showing bunt, but he's not going to lay it down on that breaking ball. Takes it for a strike. Taylor is 1 for 1 today, with only his second single of the summer coming in his first at-bat back in inning number 2. He has 7 strikeouts in his last 13 at-bats over the last 3 games he's played. Really wants to avoid a strikeout here with 2 runners on. The 0-1, just a little bit low. J.P. Gates' normal issues are the walks. He hasn't allowed a walk yet in this ball game, but has gotten hit around quite a bit in this inning, which has brought some trouble. Fires a beautiful breaking ball right past Smith to make the count 1 ball to 2 strikes.
Smith was thinking fastball there. He was way ahead of that pitch. Came up looking foolish.
You could feel the wind.
Right.
Deloach stands on second, Cruz on first, so some pretty good speed on the base paths with the infield at double play depth. The 1-2. Good block by Del Castillo.
Man, this really has the feel of like a playoff game. It's so intense. These teams are going tit for tat, working long at bats, trying to stretch a single into a double. It seems like they're pulling out all the stops against each other.
Here's the 2-2 from Gates. Swung on and missed, strike 3. The strikeout bug continues to bite Taylor Smith as he goes down swinging for the first out of the 4th.
It's just a good pitch from Gates and a strikeout that he needed, because a ground ball might have advanced the runners depending on where it was hit. Now a double play gets you out of the inning.
Barron Radcliffe, who has struck out a lot recently, 7 Ks over his last 4 games played, will have a chance with runners on. He takes a first pitch ball below the knees. Another shift against Radcliffe, who's got a huge hole, just like Deloach did, left side of the infield and outfield. Not sure if we'll see a bunt from this power hitter. We're not. 1-0 misses down and away.
It could be good for Radcliffe, because you'd likely advance the runners to second and third with 2 outs, but then again, bottom of the order due up next, and Matt Nelson, who still just has 1 hit on the summer.
Friendly hitters count at 2-0. Here's the pitch. That's good for strike number 1. Beautiful location. Not much Radcliffe could do with that. Barron with 3 hits in his last 4 games played, 11 RBIs in his last 4 games played, including a hit and an RBI yesterday on a solo home run. 2-1. Another home run hack from Barron, but he swings right through the pitch.
Yeah, first time he swung during this at-bat, as that 2-0 pitch really changed the course of the count in the at-bat. It was a beautiful fastball on the outside part of the plate. Even if Radcliffe swung, it would have been tough to make good contact.
Gates looking back to Deloach at second for a while. Now comes home with the 2-2. Radcliffe swings and misses, but it gets away from Del Castillo, and Barron will take... No, he won't take first base, sorry. Drop third strike, less than 2 outs. He's out, but both runners will advance. I thought that one was tipped off the bat, but immediately the out call was made behind home plate, and Radcliffe didn't put up a fight.
Yeah, that was a kind of a bizarre play from Radcliffe. I thought it was a foul ball as well, and now we'll get a pitching change.
Jerry Weinstein coming out to the hill to say no more to J.P. Gates, as his day is done, getting only through 3 2/3. They're definitely using him pretty sparingly along this season so far. I mean, he has not gotten out of the 4th inning in any of his outings so far. We'll head to a break for the pitching change, and we'll be right back on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 20-plus seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for elite baseball training and college recruiting assistance. They build more varsity starters, all-state athletes, and college and professional ball players than anyone else in the country. With over 1,000 events nationwide for players in middle school and high school and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Welcome back to the Gov. With 2 outs in the 4th inning on a 1-0 Commodores lead, Trent Palmer is going to be called upon out of the Wareham bullpen to try to get this final out and maybe eat up some more innings. An all-star for Wareham coming on in this 1-0 ball game.
Palmer's been exceptional. He's pitched 5 times for the Gatemen. He has yet to start. He's been really their best middle relief guy out of the pen. He got 1 win this year. It was against Katuitt in a 1-0 shutout at Spillane Field against the Kettleers. He went 4 innings, gave up just 2 hits, no earned runs. He's only allowed earned runs in 1 of his outings. It was in 2 innings of work against Orleans. And Danny, you commented on it too. He's a guy who's pitched against Chatham and Orleans twice.
Yeah. He's pitched in 5 games so far. 4 of those games were victories for Wareham. The one loss was 1-0 at Orleans on June 23rd when he pitched 2 innings of work, only allowed 1 hit. First pitch slider to Matt Nelson, taken at the knees for a strike. 1.35 ERA on the summer is an easy lock for an all-star.
Oh, yeah.
One of those, what'd you say, 9 all-stars Wareham has?
So I thought it was 9. It's 7.
7, okay.
Boo-hoo.
Still a couple more than Falmouth's 5.
Dallas Beaver, Jacob Teeter, Braden Ward, Ian Bedell, one of the best pitchers on the Cape. Trent Palmer, Benjamin Sems, and Matt McLean.
0-2 to Nelson. High for a ball. A lot of strikes thrown by Trent Palmer. He has 17 Ks to 5 walks on the summer. But 4 of those 5 walks coming in his last 2 outings. Had 2 walks in each of those outings. Errant baseball coming from the Falmouth bullpen, because when does it ever not? I swear. It's like they try to throw it in the dirt. Back in action on the real playing field. 1-2 count. Palmer from the stretch. Lifts and fires home to the righty. And he misses just outside.
Palmer, a strikeout-heavy pitcher. Looks at about 12 or 13 strikeouts per 9 innings.
Matt Nelson already with a K to his ledger today. The pitch almost hits him, as it was a big looping breaking ball that just missed the inside corner.
Palmer, a guy who's really had more success this summer than he has in college. Goes to Jacksonville University, a 4.55 ERA during his sophomore year, and a 5-4 record.
The payoff pitch from Palmer, swung on and missed, strike 3. Nelson's woes continue. He falls to 0 for 2. And after a very promising start to the 4th inning, the Falmouth Commodores get 3 straight outs on 3 straight swinging strikeouts. They score 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on base as we head to the 5th inning. 1-0 in favor of the Doors on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development. Online at www.curry.edu.
Welcome back to the Gov as we begin the top of the 5th inning. It's 1-0 in favor of Falmouth. Nick Nastrini will stay on the hill for the Commodores. Worcester has been warming up for quite some time in the Doors bullpen, but Nastrini, after a quick 4th inning where he faced the minimum, will get the 5th and potentially get in line for a victory if he can get out of this 5th inning unscathed. He'll face Chad Stevens to lead off the 5th, and he fires a first pitch breaking ball in the outside corner, strike 1.
That double play in the 4th was huge. Otherwise, you might not see him out here for the 5th inning. That was pitch number 79.
Here's pitch 80 on an 0-1 count. It misses low to Stevens.
Something Nastrini's done really well is he hasn't let Wareham get under his skin, because you see some guys who work long counts. Sometimes the pitcher then gets rattled, throws a little bit more wild, then tries to attack the zone even more. He has stayed true to his stuff, throwing about 2 strikes for every ball, pitching to contact when he needs to, punching out when he wants.
That's something I feel like you notice a lot. When a guy has somebody like 0-2, and then he fires these great pitches, and they all get fouled off. 2-1 is chopped foul. And then they finally just say, enough of this. I'm going to go with a fastball, like, you know, at the letters, and what are you going to do about it? And half the time, the guy blasts it.
Yeah. And Nastrini, a guy who calls himself competitive and resilient. He shows every bit of that. I think his body language and the example he sets, he's extremely mature. I never would have guessed that he's a rising sophomore by the way he conducts himself and the way he pitches. He's definitely one of the players that's impressed me the most on this team.
Also helps that he's 6'3" and over 200 pounds.
True.
2-2 to another big guy. Here's the pitch. Just misses outside. He was looking for a swing and a miss from Stevens, but nearly got a punch out after a great frame from Nelson.
Stevens had the first hit of the game for either side in the top of the 2nd.
It was a single right back through the middle. Now he's looking to get on base in another way. The payoff pitch flown out into deep center field. Blake Dunn is underneath it. He has a while to wait for that one as it was really sky high, but it's an out for out number 1.
Now batting the left fielder from St. John's University, number 16, Mike.
So Chad Stevens likes hitting it to center field, because that single skipped in front of Blake Dunn in the 2nd inning. And he has a moonshot out to Dunn, who barely had to move. That ball hung up there for a long time.
Yeah. That's how you know a guy has power.
Right.
Mike Antico now up at the dish. He flew out to right field in his lone at bat. Puts down a bunt but pulls it back and watches a ball miss low. Antico plays for St. John's, originally from New Jersey. From the Garden State along with the Falmouth Commodore and Tyler Ross. Antico is the number 1 outfielder from that state. He takes another pitch down and in.
He had a game this year, 3 home runs against Villanova.
Yeah.
No home runs yet this summer, but he clearly has some power. He's the best hitter on that St. John's team. 386 average.
Here's the 2-0. Again misses low, and Nastrini, after working a 3-ball count to Chad Stevenson getting it out, now falls behind Antico 3-0. That's not going to help the pitch count.
I think that this is one of those scenarios where you allow a base runner and you're getting the hook.
Right.
If you can work a 1-2-3 inning, I bet Landry will let him stay out there.
3-0 fastball glances the outside corner for strike number 1, and he's already up to now 86 pitches.
Yeah.
So they don't want to push him any further than 90, I would assume.
I wonder if he fought with Landry to go back out there for the 5th. We know some of these guys who are competitive like to do that.
3-1, inside corner, strike 2. That one was paint.
And this is, again, another example of him staying composed. He falls behind 3-0, 1 pitch away from walking the 9 batter, and he has 2 perfectly placed fastballs.
Mike Landry is right at the top step near the gate of the dugout, hoping to not go out right now. Payoff pitch fouled back. I think that's a worthwhile theory, that he probably fought with Mike Landry to stay out there, because the Doors are so protective of their pitchers.
Well, when I say fought, it's not like, they were screaming at each other, but I bet he was gunning to go back out there. Because I remember an outing last year against YD. Adam Lasky did the same sort of thing. Some of these guys just love the competition.
Another payoff pitch to Antico, misses down and in as Nastrini tried to go to that same location he got strike 2 at, but instead delivers ball 4. Mike Antico reaches base. That's now the 3rd walk allowed by Nick Nastrini.
Yep, there it is.
So Nastrini gets through 4 1/3 innings of work. Won't be able to get a win in this ball game. You have to go 5 as Mike Landry motions for Caleb Worster. We'll head to a break as with 1 out in the 5th, the Doors are going to the bullpen holding on to a 1-0 lead. We'll be right back on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 20-plus seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for elite baseball training and college recruiting assistance. They build more varsity starters, all-state athletes, and college and professional ball players than anyone else in the country. With over 1,000 events nationwide for players in middle school and high school and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod Coca-Cola has been proudly refreshing the community for 30-plus years, and we're honored to support the CCBL and many other wonderful organizations on the Cape.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
Caleb Worster is now going to be the pitcher to try to get out of this 5th inning as Nick Nastrini goes 4 1/3, walks his 3rd batter of the ball game in Mike Antico, and quickly gets the hook as he was right around 90 pitches. So smart move from the Falmouth coaching staff. And Worster, the Yukon Husky, will come on to try to seal the deal.
He has not allowed an earned run since June 23rd. He's now pitched his last 5 1/3 without giving up an earned run, and his last 3 2/3 without giving up a hit. Caleb Worster, a 2.25 ERA on the summer and a 1-1 record. 8 innings of work, 8 strikeouts, 2 walks.
A former Wareham gateman when he started the summer, and his very first appearance with the Commodores was against this Wareham team on June 17th. He got the win in that ball game, throwing 2 innings of work. Now he'll get to face Wareham in only the 2nd game Falmouth is playing against them. Formerly wore this navy blue and red that the gatemen wear. Bunt laid down as that one's going to trickle foul. Braden Ward trying to get on base with a drag bunt, but it goes unsuccessfully.
If he keeps that ball fair, he's safe by a mile because he was jetting past that ball by the time it reached the grass.
Caleb from Coventry, Rhode Island, a rising redshirt sophomore who redshirted in 2018. The lefty pitches for UConn, as we mentioned, and Braden Ward at the plate. Plays for Washington, a couple guys who would never see each other if it weren't for the Cape Cod League. (0-1) to the center fielder. Way outside. Nelson stays with it. Nothing has gotten behind him yet this ball game. He has looked especially sharp.
He has, and you can tell he's establishing that rapport with the catcher, with the pitchers, that is. Worcester has yet to shake off his catcher. Seems to know what he wants.
The 1-1. Right down the chute, and at the belt. 1-2.
Worcester, a reliever for the Huskies this past year. His longest outing was 3 innings of work against Oklahoma State in the Norman Regional.
Braden Ward 0 for 2 already with a strikeout. Worcester looking to ring him up a second time. Here's the 1-2. Lined into center field, good for a base hit. Runners will be on first and second after the walk and the single, and Wareham threatening with the tying run in scoring position.
Baseman from the University of California, number 11, Darren Baker.
Wareham's last time out against Brewster, it was a really close game for the majority of the matchup out at Stony Brook Field against the Whitecaps. They ended up winning 8-3. But through the first 4, it was just a 4-2 ball game. Brewster cut it to 4-3, and Wareham pounced on the Whitecaps relievers late. They love getting to these teams' bullpens, getting the starters out early.
That's why it was so important that Nastrini eat up some innings. Bunt shown by Darren Baker, but he watches that fastball just dive a little bit south of the knees. 1-0. Darren from Cal. Born in California when his dad was the manager for the Giants. Foul ball left side out of play. Mentioned his dad a couple of times, but Dusty has coached all over the place. 22 years as an MLB manager, 19-year playing career. He managed the Giants. That's where Darren was born in San Francisco. Managed the Cubs, the Reds, and the Nationals most recently.
1,800 career wins as a manager. It's not bad.
I think Darren gets that state tuition. Because he had to have been moving all over the place.
Right. I bet he does.
Permanent residence says Granite Bay, California, which I'm going to assume is Bay Area, because I don't know California at all. Caleb Worcester taking a lot of time. Finally comes set. Rocking that front foot a lot. Now he's all settled in, and here's the pitch. Misses outside.
It's really cool to see him at a lot of these games, especially out at Spillane Field. In a couple of interviews, he's mentioned that he feels like he's making up for lost time. Mm-hmm. He's getting to spend a lot of time with his son. He's fishing in the morning. It's not a bad life.
Living his best life in retirement. That is the dream. That's my dream. 2-1. Pop fly into foul territory. Moretto is tracking it. He is on the mound of the bullpen for Wareham, and he still comes down with the catch. Very sure-footed is Moretto to get out number 2.
I wonder if he knew the mound was there, because I would have been wiping out if I were Moretto. You have to keep your eyes on the ball, and then you're following it. But it looked like he took those next couple steps carefully. Make sure that he was fielding it all right.
Jacob Teeter will now come up to the dish. Had 2 hits against the Commodores way back on June 17th, the last time these two teams faced. But right now he's changed since then. 0 for 2 with a couple strikeouts. Worcester looking to get out of the inning, keeping this a 1-0 Falmouth lead. Here's the pitch. Again misses outside with that tailing slider, I think it is. It's got some giddy up to it, but it has so much movement breaking away to lefties.
Yeah, against lefties, he likes it to move to that outside part of the plate so that if they're hitting it, it's going to go off the head of the bat and towards the left side of the infield.
The lefty from Florida Southern College. Mentioned 0 for 2. Now make it 0 for 3 as a nice backhanded scoop to Cruz. Thrown on to third. Things got a little dicey as Steven Moretto, that time he tripped over the third base bag, which he's more used to stepping on, but he gets to the base in time to retire the side. The 6-5 fielder's choice to end the inning as Wareham scores no runs on one hit, no errors, and they strand a couple men on. We head to the bottom of the fifth, 1-0 in favor of the Doors.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod Coca-Cola has been proudly refreshing the community for 30-plus years, and we're honored to support the CCBL and many other wonderful organizations on the Cape.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
Home fifth from Gov Fuller Field. Led off by Steven Moretto. He'll be followed by Tim Tawa. Then Hayden Cantrell, the top of the lineup for the Commodores, looking to extend this 1-0 lead. Because, David, something tells me this game isn't going to finish 1-0.
Our predictions have been so bad, though. I don't know.
Well, I mean, Wareham's
I agree.
such
though.
a good hitting team.
Yeah. It's very tough to shut out the Gatemen. I don't even know if it's happened yet this season.
It has. They lost 1-0 way back on June 23rd against Orleans. Trent Palmer pitched in that ball game.
Huh.
That's why I know that, because I just looked at it.
They lost 2-0 to Harwich, too. Again, that's a Harwich team that's first in the Cape League in ERA. And Orleans, when they played them, their pitching staff was lights out.
At the time was first in the Cape League in ERA themselves. 2-0 now, the count to Moretto as Del Castillo tells Palmer to just settle down a little bit. Trent came on in the 4th inning, faced only one batter, and got a strikeout to end the inning. Here's the 2-0. Chopped towards the left side foul. Final line for J.P. Gates. He went 3 2/3 innings, allowed 3 hits, 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts. That's a really good line.
That is a really good line.
Except for the innings pitched. I mean, you want him to throw more, but he didn't throw too many pitches. It was just a short leash from Weinstein. Yeah. Something tells me maybe innings limit, something along those lines.
Innings limit, but he didn't pitch a ton at Miami.
Moretto grounds this one again, same spot, a little bit foul.
So what that makes me think is that I've used the phrase pulling out all the stops a lot, but I think that he really wants to show his best pitchers tonight, and he doesn't want to wait too long for Gates to then let up 2 or 3 runs, and then all of a sudden it'd be a bigger deficit for Wareham.
That's true. Gates was in a tough jam, and it didn't look like he was going to get out of it alone. Pitch on the outside corner, strike 3 called. Moretto flips the bat as he walks back towards the dugout. That one was very close. Benefit going towards Wareham.
Oh, boy, you look at these bottom hitters for the Commodores. 6 through 9, a combined 0 for 7 with 6 strikeouts.
And 7 through 9, the true bottom of the order, 0 for 5, all of them Ks.
Yeah.
Ball taken by Tim Tawa, who is the lone man not to have a second at-bat in this ball game. His lone at-bat, of course, was a strikeout.
Of course.
Because the bot we just said.
I know.
1-0 taken down and away. Another thing that tells me that JP might have been on a short leash is that they had a watchdog behind the Wareham dugout. His head coach, Gino DeMari from Miami, sitting there the whole time. Maybe Weinstein got a little nervous. 2-0 on the outside corner for a strike.
I'm sure there have been a ton of head coaches around, but I haven't really caught as many as I would have liked.
They don't scream out to you that they're a head coach.
Definitely.
2-1 line foul. Brett Becker didn't move a muscle as that one nearly clipped him. Yeah, I mean, it'd be tough to tell, obviously, because they just look like any other fan.
Right. Except for the only thing that gave Gino away was his Miami polo.
2-2. Lined over towards third. Matt McLean is right there to squeeze it and make the catch. 2 up, 2 down.
Now batting, the second baseman from the University of Louisville.
5 straight retired by Wareham pitching. And I want to go back to that bottom of the 4th inning for a sec, Danny, because they did get the 1 run and break this tie, but it felt like there was more that they left on the table.
Yeah.
With Deloach and Cruz on base, Smith, Radcliffe, and Nelson all struck out in a row.
And they worked some pretty decent at-bats, too.
Yeah.
I mean, they got pretty close to getting on. Hayden Cantrell takes a ball down low. So things were looking really, really good for the Doors in the 4th. Looked like they had started to break open the gates that those men stand by. But like you said, all came to a crashing halt with those 3. 1-0 to Cantrell. Another pitch down at the laces that he swings at and fouls. Hayden, definitely a free swinger, which is rare to see from a leadoff man.
He's also batting as a lefty for the first time in this game. First 2 at-bats against J.P. Gates.
He and Cruz, both switch hitters, both started the game from the right side. Hayden hitting .322, entering in this ball game. So far, it is 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a flyout. Facing a 1-2 count against Palmer, who already has 2 strikeouts. Looking for 3. The pitch. Too far inside. Nobody on, 2 outs and a 2-2 count to Hayden Cantrell in this 1-0 ball game. The pitch. Ball 3.
Cantrell, a guy who hasn't been himself at the plate as of late, 2 for his last 15. But he's working a longer count here, putting together his best at-bat of the night.
Palmer's payoff pitch, grounded towards the right side. It takes a funky hop up and over the outstretched Jacob Teeter as Hayden takes a huge turn, comes to a grinding halt as he just totally lost his footing on his left ankle. Luckily, Rudick had no idea and lobbed one in towards second base before he could react. So Hayden gets a base hit with a little bit of luck.
Yeah, I think even if that one stayed down, it was still going to get past Teeter because the big first baseman had to move quite a ways from the right field line. But that sharp hop definitely helping him out.
So Cantrell now 1 for 3 after the 2-out single. Blake Dunn, who's got a hit to his ledger. He had the double, came around to score in the 4th. He's 1 for 2 on the ball game after going 1 for his last 21 before that hit. Another pickoff attempt to second base. Teeter applies the tag, but he's just late. Hayden Cantrell, who steals bases constantly.
12 for 13 on the year.
Will not be going, but he really looks like he is. I mean, just watching him over there, he's doing that back and forth on each foot type movement, which is typically what you see. As here's another snap throw, 4 straight pickoffs, and Palmer didn't even step on the rubber that last time. Hayden Cantrell with free real estate in just about every pitcher's head.
So Cantrell with 12 stolen bases. Dunn at the plate has 11.
This ball gets behind as Del Castillo will have no chance to get Cantrell at second base. That one rolled about as far away as it can with this backstop behind home plate. 1-0 the count to Blake Dunn and Hayden Cantrell on second.
It seems like these guys going tit for tat on stolen bases because behind them is Cruz, 4 behind at 7. Falmouth team that likes to steal a lot of bases as Jerry Weinstein's going to talk it over.
Yeah, now with Cantrell on second, Dunn, who's looking pretty sharp this ball game, and especially after that wild pitch. Palmer looks a little bit rattled, so it's going to need some talking down from Jerry Weinstein. Shortest man among the bunch of all the guys on the mound, but he is
I love Jerry.
Brilliant manager. And like I said, he's been all over the place, mostly with the Rockies organization, but he has coached at just about every level you can imagine.
Should we go through the bio? Because it's going to take about 3 innings. His first season at the helm in Wareham. He actually was the field manager in 2016, just for 1 year, when Don Sneddon took a summer off. Ball missing outside to Blake Dunn. The Gatemen went 25-15-4 that year. They lost in the first round of the playoffs. He began his coaching way back in 1966 at UCLA.
2-0 becomes 3-0 after that fastball misses down and away. So whatever he said to Palmer hasn't worked out yet. Yeah, 1966, long time ago.
Long time ago.
UCLA, then coaches for longer than we've been alive at Sacramento City College
Right.
for 23 years. Then with the Rockies for a while. 3-0. Outside ball 4. Blake Dunn on first base, Hayden Cantrell on second base, and big bad Zach DeLoach with a chance to knock him in.
This is a nice little 2-out rally for the Doors. We saw them score a run in the top of the first inning against Hyannis yesterday with 1 out.
Zach DeLoach, the Cape Cod leader in batting average at .392 entering tonight's ball game. He's so far 0 for 2, but second best was Riley King with Yarmouth Dennis at .359. So DeLoach, he's got some room for error. Takes a ball down low. Now 5 straight balls delivered by Trent Palmer.
That was just his 6th walk of the summer. But in his past 2 outings, he's given up 2 walks each time.
Here's the 1-0. Down and in yet again. Palmer struggling against these last 2 hitters. Really trying to be careful, especially with Cantrell on second. All that speed. A base hit into any part of the outfield should score him.
Yeah. Especially with 2 outs.
Blake Dunn on first. If he can put one into a gap, he'll probably score as well. He's just as fast as Cantrell. The 2-0. Inside for ball 3.
Can't walk back-to-back guys.
Especially without throwing a strike at all.
Right.
It's been 7 straight pitches out of the zone.
And I know you might be intimidated with Zach DeLoach in the batter's box, but Trey Cruz has been even better as of late.
3-0 goes right down the middle about knee-high as DeLoach was taking all the way. Nobody on Falmouth's roster is really in the top, top 5 to 10 or so. Yeah, nobody in the top 10 in RBIs on the Cape. They've spread out their ribbies pretty well. 3-1, chopped over towards second base. Darren Baker with a nice scoop as he'll throw on to first on the run. And that will do it for the 5th inning. Falmouth threatens, but they get no runs on the 1 hit, no errors, and 2 runners left on base. To the 6th we go. Still 1-0 for the home team.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 20-plus seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for elite baseball training and college recruiting assistance. They build more varsity starters, all-state athletes, and college and professional ball players than anyone else in the country. With over 1,000 events nationwide for players in middle school and high school and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more.
What's donated here stays here. All blood that is donated to Cape Cod Healthcare stays on Cape Cod to help the lives of your friends, family, and neighbors. Learn more about donating blood, platelets, or hosting a blood drive at capecodhealth.org/blood center.
Adrian Del Castillo will lead off for the Gatemen in the top of the 6th inning. He's the cleanup man, and this is just about the heart of the order for Wareham against Caleb Worcester. Only a 1-0 game. First pitch swinging, ground ball into right field, base hit for Del Castillo. He's on base for the 2nd time tonight, now improves to 1 for 2, And already Wareham puts the potential tying run on base.
And that's a good way to start things off. First pitch, no fooling around. You think Worcester's probably going to go fastball, and he does. And that's the first time since the 4th inning that the Gatemen get the leadoff runner on.
It's in the form of Del Castillo, who doesn't have the most speed. It's not too much of a threat on the base paths, but Worcester isn't going to take any chances. Matt McLean singled his last time up. He's now 1 for 2 against his teammate as we are ready for... Nope, not Bruin Bowl.
Oh,
I forgot Worcester's in the game now.
Dang it.
So Bruin Bowl only gets 2 parts, and it is split. He shows bunt, but he takes a pitch high.
You got to bring Nastrini back out. Oh, no, you know what you have to do, right?
Bring Sean Mullen
Bring
in.
Sean Mullen in. Yep. Bruin Bowl Part 3, you need a tiebreaker.
We got Clemson, Alabama 3 times. We got Golden State, Cleveland. Did we get it 3 times? I don't even remember.
That was like 4, I think.
We got it a ton, but we don't get Bruin Bowl. Strike number 1 comes in to the lone Bruin remaining in the ball game.
It was 4 times. The Warriors won 3, and the Cavaliers won 1.
Gatemen trailing by just a run here in the 6th inning. They've out-hit the Commodores only 5-4. That bunt pulled back. Low pitch called for a strike behind home plate by Jeff Merzel.
McLean, one of these all-stars for Wareham. He had a pretty good freshman year at UCLA with the .203 average. Last summer he was out in the West Coast League with Nick Nastrini.
It's typically where we see those Western guys from, obviously, the West Coast. Ground ball into left field, base hit. Both Del Castillo and now McLean split either side of the infield. First 2 runners on against Worcester, who's now allowed 3 hits on his outing.
Yeah, he's getting hit harder than he usually does. Most runs he's let up was against Yarmouth Dennis. 2 earned runs in a third of an inning, gave up 4 hits. This is his highest hit total since then.
Now he'll have to face Dallas Beaver, and maybe this is why you put your team leader in average at the 6 hole, because everybody else is so reliable to get on base.
Right.
Beaver can capitalize. He's got 11 RBIs on the summer. A modest amount for Wareham, but most other teams, double digits is impressive. The big lefty from UCF is showing bunt, pulls it back, takes it for a ball. So now we've seen the team leader in average and the Cape leader in average in Zach DeLoach show bunt once before with a runner on second, and now Dallas Beaver, the team leader in average for Wareham, is showing bunt. Both managers playing some small ball, knowing that hits are coming at a premium. The 1-0 from Worcester. Bunt down up the third base line. Moretto's going to wait for that one to go foul, and he fields it right along that line. 1-1 now the count.
So you got both runners on base, the first base coach and the batter, all with that playbook on their wrist. Every single one of them is checking it before every pitch.
We need eyes on Jerry Weinstein to see if he's calling out signs from the dugout. Who's calling for those signs? Who's making those plays?
It's got to be Weinstein.
I would assume so.
There's no way someone else is orchestrating this that's not the manager.
I'm surprised they've all memorized it, because it's only a month into a season, which is not a lot of time. And it's summer ball too, so typically these guys kind of, they let their mind rest a little bit after a long school year and a competitive spring season. Usually take a little bit of a back seat and just focus on, the pure mechanics of the game, but Jerry Weinstein not letting them. The 1-1 from Worcester. Bunt can't be laid down. Back pick attempt down to second base, but not in time. Del Castillo is too far off the bag, and Matt Nelson thought maybe he could get the best of him.
I like that from Nelson, though. You don't let the base runners get complacent. Check on them so that they're taking a little bit less on the base paths, staying closer.
Seen a lot of back pick attempts by Matt Nelson this year, and typically, a couple of those might go awry, but so far he's had a strike on every single one, which is good news. Beaver won't be bunting on 1-2. Here's the offering from Worcester. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Everything goes according to plan for Caleb Worcester, and everything goes contrary to plan for the Gatemen, as the first out of the inning is a strikeout, and now a double play will be in order.
Yeah, that's a huge out after back-to-back singles. Now you face the bottom third of the order, which is a combined 1 for 5. Get a little bit of a breather.
Matt Rudick, one of those guys who's combining to be 1 for 5. He struck out twice, both times swinging. Lefty-lefty matchup. This is a heavy lefty lineup for Wareham. So Worcester's got the advantage as he fires a fastball over the outside part of the plate for a strike.
He loves that fastball that moves from right to lefties.
It's got some tailing action.
It does, definitely.
I like it a lot. It's just a matter of if he can hit that spot. He's let up a lot of hits. No walks just yet, but he's gotten behind in a couple of counts. Ahead in this one 0-1 as he takes a step off the mound. Comes back on. Del Castillo stands on second. McLean stands on first. 1-0 ball game in favor of Falmouth, so any hit can make a difference. Worcester's 0-1. Breaking ball in on the hands. That's flown out to left field but foul. And Rudick is quickly in another hole.
Strikeout victim twice today. Down 0-2 yet again. Not his day at the plate.
Top of the order for Wareham has been excellent. They've been getting on base in bunches. This bottom, though, not as much. The 0-2. Ball misses outside. Rudick nearly went after it, but he thought better of it.
.247 average this summer. Last summer, he was out in the Northwoods League with the Wilmar Stingers. .325 average and 29 RBIs.
He's got double-digit RBIs again this summer with 11. Could get 12 on a ball to the outfield. Worcester trying to avoid that. The 1-2. Chopped over towards third base. Moretto charges in. His only play is to first, and he gets it there in time against the speedy Rudick. Stephen Moretto with a very important out number 2 as both runners advance into scoring position.
Now batting the shortstop from the University of
No chance to turn 2.
Chad Stevens.
About a coin flip on if you can get the out at first. Never mind a double play in that situation, but we've seen Moretto field those soft ground balls to third base so well. Gets it from his glove to his throwing hand, and more often than not delivering a strike in plenty of time.
Chad Stevens, who's 1 for 2, will step up to the plate, but first he'll have to wait for Matt Nelson to converse with Caleb Worcester. After the first inning Worcester worked, that was the 5th. Looked like everything Nelson was giving him was exactly what he wanted. This inning, they've been really not on the same page. A couple of step-offs by Worcester and a couple of shaking heads, too. Now they're back all in order, and Caleb, after allowing back-to-back singles to start off the inning, looking to get out of it unscathed with 2 runners in scoring position, only leading by 1. First pitch, just a little bit low to Stevens. Chad Stevens rocking the wacky stockings. Those aren't even stirrups.
I didn't notice that. Good catch.
Red, white, and blue with some white stripes across the Achilles. Here's a strike at the knees. 1-1.
And this feels like a situation where Wareham needs to score. They've been behind 1-0 since the 4th, and they've been threatening multiple times. They now have 2 runners in scoring position with 2 outs. They want to run here. This would feel like a huge win for Falmouth if they can get out of the inning after back-to-back singles.
Again, Worcester's going to step off the mound as Hayden Cantrell is jumping 4 feet in the air, trying to stay warm and probably a little frustrated that there's no action. Hayden is definitely an energetic guy and wants something to be going on all the time. Worcester right now, very patient, methodical, and taking his time selecting his pitches. Now he's set. The 1-1. Breaking ball that looks like it slipped out of the hand and stays way outside. Things have really slowed down in this 6th inning, really ever since Worcester came into the game. That's usually how he is. slows down the pace of the game, puts everybody on his time. But typically it's worked out for him. As you mentioned, that stat line last inning, he's been really sharp lately. 2-1. Ground ball towards Cantrell. This should do it on the inning, but he bobbles the baseball, and he's going to have no play. Coming home, trying to score. No dice at home, as that was a very interesting call from Matt McLean trying to score on that one, but a run will come home. Wareham ties up the ball game at 1 thanks to the hesitation and error from Hayden Cantrell. They get the final out at the plate, but still 1 run on 2 hits, 1 error, and 1 runner left on base. To the 7th, or the 6th, bottom of the 6th, I should say, we go. Tie ball game.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 20 plus seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for elite baseball training and college recruiting assistance. They build more varsity starters, all-state athletes, and college and professional ball players than anyone else in the country. With over 1,000 events nationwide for players in middle school and high school and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more.
Let's take a look ahead before we start the bottom of the 6th inning, David, shall we?
Let's do it.
It's Wareham week, and it has officially commenced on this Tuesday evening. It'll be followed up by a road game against the Gatemen tomorrow, then home against Katuitt, the second-place team. Wareham doubleheader at Spillane Field on Friday before some road games out east, with Orleans starting it off at home. First pitch swinging is Trey Cruz. He falls behind 0-1 after missing. So the real bulk of the schedule and the real intensity is all in the next couple days.
Yeah, no question, especially Wareham. That's why we've been calling it Wareham Week. And if the games are like this, we are in for an entertaining few days.
Yeah, it is 1-1 right now in the 6th inning. Falmouth scoring their 1 run back in the 4th inning after a couple of hits. And Wareham getting theirs thanks to an error in the last half inning. Foul ball from Cruz makes it 1-2, who's batting from the left side for the first time tonight.
The last thing I'll mention about the upcoming schedule is there's a handful of teams which Falmouth is going to play a lot in the coming weeks. Wareham's one.
Cruz bats this one back up the middle. It's over the second base bag and past Chad Stevens, who tried to flag it down but couldn't get there in time. Cruz on base with yet another 2-hit ball game.
We love that.
Unreal.
Cruz, 6-game hitting streak. 5 of those are 2 hits. Make it a 7-game hitting streak. 6 of those with a pair of hits.
So now Taylor Smith, who's 1 for 2 with a single himself, will have a man on first and nobody out to work with. Smith, the catcher, who's transferring from the University of the Incarnate Word over to Grayson County College, staying in his home state of Texas. Ball pops out of the glove of Del Castillo, but he gets there in the nick of time to make sure that Cruz couldn't advance to second. Might have had a chance if he went off the bat, but he decided not to.
Yeah, he did have a chance. He knew it, too, clapping his hands in frustration as he goes back to first. That's all right. You put your lead runner on for now the second time.
Now a pickoff move to first. Cruz again about to chase for second, but that time definitely a smart move not to go over, as Teeter got off the bag quickly and retrieved the baseball.
Last time the Doors got a leadoff runner on was the 4th, in which they scored the run. Blake Dunn led it off with a single.
Wareham starting to look a little bit sloppy right now after some errant throws. 1-0 is a breaking ball that goes right down Broadway. Taylor Smith, the team leader in home runs at 5, has 9 RBIs on the summer as well. His hits seem to come in bunches. He'll go a couple of games hitless, and then all of a sudden he'll have a moonshot to hold us over for a week. He calls for time after Palmer takes a ton of his own. Trent so far an inning and a third, hasn't allowed a run, has allowed a couple of hits and thrown almost as many balls as strikes. Smith rockets this into left field. That's shallow. Antico coming on, and he'll make the catch as he got way underneath it, and it hung up just long enough for Antico to get there in time.
Loud pop off the bat, but clearly just not enough on it.
I thought he'd have a bloop hit, but Mike Antico has some speed in left field, and he's able to steal it away from the grass. Baron Radcliffe will step up to the plate. He's 0 for 2, a flyout and a strikeout victim. Probably the most powerful bat in this lineup. 6'4", designated hitter from Georgia Tech. Has to wait for the first pitch as Cruz is checked on once again. He's only got 3 home runs on the summer, but those have come within just about the last week. He's starting to get that power gene. Watches the first pitch off speed for a strike at the knees.
Solo home run and another hit last night for Radcliffe. That home run just snuck out at McKeon Park.
Wind wasn't blowing, though. Usually we see
True.
at Hyannis the wind blowing rapidly out into the outfield. Lends itself to being a home run hitter's ballpark despite being pretty big. Pickoff move, that one a lot closer as Cruz is able to dive back in time. Barron has home run power for sure. Just watch him in batting practice. We rave about it all the time.
Yeah.
Only a .222 batting average coming into this ball game, and strikeouts have been his biggest issue. I mean, this guy strikes out at a pretty fervent clip, even when he's been hitting the ball. 1-1. Inside, that one does get away from Del Castillo. Cruz will take second as Adrian digs it out of the backstop, and there's a runner in scoring position with 1 out in the 6th.
We saw Hayden Cantrell move over to second base on a similar play with 2 outs in the 5th. Cruz making no mistake that time. You got to play what if, though, because if he took second earlier as a foul ball sliced down towards the Falmouth bullpen, he could be on third right now, and a sac fly would score the leading run.
Very true. Right now the count 2-2 to Baron Radcliffe after that latest foul. And again, talking about the strikeouts, now it's 5 straight games in which he struck out. 3 of them multiple strikeouts. Already has 1 K today, and he does not want one here. 2-2, misses low. I mean, a ground ball, a fly ball, even if you're out, Trey Cruz has enough speed to potentially take third. Full count to the Baron. Palmer's payoff pitch, pummeled into right center field. That one's going to get down for a hit and one hop the fence. Trey Cruz is going to score easily. Radcliffe into second with a stand-up double, and the Falmouth Commodores have retaken the lead.
Radcliffe keeps it going, adds another RBI, this time not in the form of a home run, which we've become accustomed to seeing. Does the job there, gets a hold of a pitch inside, down the middle, inside and right at the belt, turned on it and made no mistake, and the shift's not going to help you there.
Yeah, not when he's perfectly splitting the outfielders and hitting the gap like that. Now has 12 RBIs in his last 5 games played, as a big hooking slider gets Matt Nelson out in front, 0-1 to the catcher. Matt still only 1 hit on the summer and has struck out twice in this ball game, both times swinging, both times to end innings. Now he's down 0-2 as, I don't know, something with Matt. He looks like he's trying to do too much. He's just really, really yearning for a hit.
Yeah, haphazard swing on the off speed, tried to adjust mid-swing, but it's a lot easier said than done. In danger of his 3rd strikeout.
Radcliffe on second, not taking a big lead at all, despite no one really keeping him close. Nelson with less than 2 outs. Probably just wants to put a ball in play at this point, down 0-2. Palmer's pitch. That time he lays off the slider. Just 3 straight sliders, 2 of them swung on and missed by Nelson. The last one, though, he takes. Two 2-1 Commodores in this barn burner of a baseball game. It's been really competitive through and through and really clean by both sides, save the one mistake by Cantrell last half inning. 1-2. Misses outside again.
It's been an uncharacteristic outing for Palmer. Just his second time on the mound this summer in which he's given up an earned run.
The 2-2. Down and away again. So after getting ahead 0-2, Palmer goes outside with 3 straight pitches, couple of them off speed, couple of them heaters. But the count is full nonetheless to Nelson.
Yeah, and he's throwing a lot of balls.
Yeah.
24 balls, 25 strikes.
A lot of deep counts against Palmer. Another one here as the payoff pitch misses down and away, and Matt Nelson will take first base. It's not a hit, but he does reach base, and he'll take it. Runners on first and second with 1 out for Steven Moretto.
Third baseman from Sacramento State, number 31, Steven Moretto.
Nelson, a guy who has walked a decent amount. 4th walk on the summer in just 20 at-bats. Wants to start swinging the bat a little bit more, putting it into play, but it'll keep the inning alive here and keep it at just 1 out.
Yeah, Matt has gotten a lot of free passes. 3 times he's been hit by pitches, 4
True.
walks. So not a lot of hits, but his on-base percentage is respectable. As we mentioned, Steven Moretto, the hitter, he's also had a rough night at the plate. 0 for 2. Both of his strikeouts looking very borderline pitches that he was frustrated with.
Yeah, and they've both been outside, or on the outside part of the plate, I should say, to Moretto. I thought that they were both pitches you got to swing at and protect with 2 strikes.
Right now facing an 0-1 count as he swings at that pitch and comes up empty. Beautiful breaking pitch from Palmer. Another 0-2 count. Moretto had 74 strikeouts as a sophomore with Sacramento State, so he's always been a strikeout guy. Doesn't get rung up with a K there as he watches a pitch miss in the dirt. He had more than a strikeout per game, playing in 65 games and striking out, like I mentioned, those 74 times, only to 26 walks. 1-2. Fouled back right behind home plate.
His strikeout numbers are high, but I feel like he does foul off a lot of pitches.
Yeah, we were saying that about a week ago, where he's a guy who works really lengthy at bats and really makes those pitchers work. So far on the summer, it hasn't paid off in hits, but it's definitely helped out some of his teammates. This one is lifted into left field, shallow. Read on it, and catch is made by Chad Stevens, the shortstop, as he had a long way to go, but he called for it all the way, making the grab in shallow left center for the 2nd out of the inning.
That spot is trouble in shallow left, but when it's hit that high, you give the infielders and outfielders plenty of time to go over and make the play. Sometimes on a softer hit ball in that same location, it'll get down. But as you mentioned, Stevens with a nice read over the shoulder. And that's the shortstop's ball in that situation because he has the best read on it. You want to be coming at an angle. Usually it's a long way to go for the left fielder.
First pitch to Tim Tawa is a fastball strike on the outside corner. So after pretty lengthy at-bats and Palmer throwing a lot of balls, he's hitting the strike zone with a lot more frequency in this later half of the inning. 2 runners still on for the Doors, trying to knock him in as this is launched into left field, but it'll come foul.
Man, Tawa squared that pitch up perfectly. Nice swing on the off speed, just a little bit too far in front of it. Both of Tawa's doubles on the summer down the left field line.
Tim calls for time. Only 4 RBIs for Tim on the season. 0-2. Just gets a piece. Tawa now 0 for his last 9. Couple days ago, he was 1 for his last 10, then 1 on a 4 for 9 streak. That has since ceased, and he's on an 0 for 9 streak. So statistically, it's about time that he gets on base.
Right.
He calls for time again as Palmer and Del Castillo never got on the same page. 2-1 Falmouth lead with some insurance on the base paths. Here's the 0-2. Checks his swing on a way outside pitch. Yes, he went around. says first base umpire Larry Rosenberg. Tim doesn't like it as he still stands in the batter's box and stares down at that first base umpire as he trots into right field. But that will do it on the 6th inning. The Commodores score 1 run on 2 hits, no errors against Wareham, and 2 runners stranded on the base paths. To the 7th we go, 2-1 in favor of the Doors.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. Please remember to recycle your empty bottles, cans, and all other recyclable materials. It takes only 6 recycled plastic bottles to make a new baseball cap. Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
The 99 Restaurant is a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Visit them in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth this summer and try some local flavor from the winner of the Cape Times' Best Restaurant for Takeout. The 99, always the real deal.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
To the top of the 7th we go at Gov Fuller Field with a 2-1 Falmouth lead. Caleb Worster will stay on the mound to try to put down the gatemen in order and get the bats right back out there. Daniel LaRose, David Korsanowski here on the call for you from Falmouth, Massachusetts. Falmouth bats have been pretty hot in the last couple of innings. They've gotten hits in 3 straight innings and have left runners on base in every single one. 4, 5, and 6. 2 runners left on base in each of them. Here's a ground ball towards the left side, out of the extended reach of Trey Cruz, and Mike Antico reaches first base for the 2nd time with his first hit.
Center fielder from the University of Washington, number 50, Braden Ward.
And this is something you see so often from Wareham. 6 of the guys in their batting order have a hit. Only a couple are 0-4 on the evening, as they are just so well spread out. Their offense, 7 hits on the evening, and the only one with more than 1 hit is Matt McLean.
Good news for Falmouth, though, is they have kept those runners from crossing home plate. Now make it 6 straight innings where Wareham has gotten a hit, as ball number 1 comes a little high to Braden Ward. And they've left a number of guys on base. They have left runners on base in every single inning except for the 4th. 7 runners left on total. Falmouth have also stranded 7. So the pitchers, when they're getting into jams, they're getting out of them. Here's the 1-0 to Ward as he shows bunt. Runner is going. Throw down to second. In time. Tag applied by Cruz to the knee of Mike Antico. It's a caught stealing as Matt Nelson continues to execute perfectly from behind home plate. 1 out.
Saw a couple Hyannis Harbor Hawks dead to rights out at second yesterday at McKeon Park. And these catchers mirroring each other's success defensively. I don't know if or where we can find stats on catchers and their success rate throwing out batters, or runners, I should say, but Falmouth has got to be up there.
Absolutely. He and Clonch just going back and forth with who they can throw out. 1-1 now the count to Ward with nobody on the base path. Swing and a miss on a big breaker. David, I'm going to level with you. I thought Antico was safe.
Again, it's so tough to tell from these angles. At this point, like, my strategy is I analyze the call and what led to that call being made, as opposed to trying to, maybe dispute it. Right. Because I honestly can't tell.
It is a tough angle. We've got this big fence in front of us too, and it looked like Antico was frustrated with the call. He took his time getting back towards the dugout, but Jerry Weinstein wasn't upset, and obviously Jeff Kinney has the best angle. Here's the 2-2 to Ward. Down below the knees, couldn't be squeezed by Nelson. So that runner erased from the base paths thanks to a caught stealing means that potentially Wareham won't strand a runner on base, but they have gotten a lot of hits. Now 7 hits and only 1 run to show for it, and that run came thanks to an error, so not even an RBI. Payoff pitch. Chopped foul.
Worcester working a little bit more quickly in now his second full inning of work. Came in with 1 out in the 5th. Allowed a single, forced a fly out, and then a ground out. The 6th inning, in which 5 batters came to the plate. He was taking his time on the mound.
Comes set again, ready to deliver another payoff pitch. Here it comes. Ground ball slowly to the left side. Steven Moretta will field it in front of Cruz. The throw to first, just in time. Incredible stretch from Taylor Smith as he nearly does a full split to get the second out of the inning on an impressive 5-3 putout.
The second baseman from the University of California, number 11.
I love this game, I really do. I know that there's been a couple innings which have dragged on compared to others, but this has been such a clean game. Hayden Cantrell with the only error, and I think it was a mental one, not even a physical one.
Yeah.
Slow ground ball with 2 outs. He knew he had to speed up, picked up the glove a little bit too quickly, and allowed the run to score. But we've seen some outstanding plays. Even a ground ball like that, Moretto has to be perfect and fire a laser to get him out in time.
He had to be quick, too. I mean, Braden Ward's at the top of the lineup for a reason. He's probably the speediest guy on this Wareham roster. 0-1 now the count to Darren Baker. Baker so far 1 for 2, walked his first time up, singled a second time up, then popped out to third back in the 5th. He's now working on a 5-game hitting streak. Pretty much all singles for Darren. 0-1 outside. Reason I say that, hasn't had an extra base hit since June 19th, nearly a full month.
Baker was a guy who started the summer so hot. His average was up to 423. After a 6-game hitting streak to open up the season.
Right now he's staring right around 330, so still pretty good. Fastball misses high, 2 balls and a strike. He's had a really good eye today, but
yeah.
You were saying his first time up that he doesn't walk a lot. Didn't walk a lot at Cal this past year, only had 19 walks in 51 games played. But he's potentially looking at another base on balls right here, ahead 3-1. Lefty Worcester taking a while to settle in. Now he comes home. Fly ball towards the left side and foul. Full count. 2 outs, nobody on the base paths here in the 7th inning. Falmouth has held Wareham to only 1 run, which is impressive to say the least.
Oh, yeah.
Against the team that scores a ton and leads the Cape in average. Here's the payoff pitch. Fouled back into the fence.
I mean, if you look at Wareham's last 10 games, they have not shown signs of letting up. 8 runs against Brewster, a couple nights before that. 5 against the Whitecaps, 4 against Bourne, 7 against Chatham. The only one in the middle in which they were kind of held off the board offensively was a 6-1 loss to Harwich. That's the best pitching staff on the Cape.
Payoff pitch yet again, lined right back through the middle. Worcester tried to snag it with his glove, but said that his face was more important as he dove out of the way. And it's a base hit for Darren Baker, his 2nd of the evening.
And he just couldn't get the glove up in time. He had the glove in the right spot, just a half a second too late. He's beating himself up for that. And that's something that I think is the scariest play in baseball.
Yeah.
Is a hard hit line drive back to the pitcher.
That's why I have been an advocate for years that even at the Little League level, but especially the college level, do not let them use metal bats.
Yeah, I was thinking the same.
They have dulled those aluminum bats so much with the new BB Core.
Right.
I guess it's not new. It's been around for a while. But the BB Core standard. But still, I mean, these are grown men firing 90-mile-an-hour pitches to other grown men who are holding metal rods.
I mean, it's 60 feet 6 inches to home plate. And, I mean, a hard hit line drive on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, it's getting back to you before your brain even has time to process what's happening.
Yeah. We haven't seen too many, terrifying events happen in college baseball. We've seen some in the major leagues a lot, but in college baseball, nothing really has hurt too many pitchers that I can think of. But I'm just thinking, who's going to have to be the first guy who really takes a blow before they decide to change it?
Well, I remember a play that I watched as a Red Sox fan growing up that literally scarred me was Matt Clement. He was a pitcher for the Red Sox. Took a line drive to the temple off the bat of Carl Crawford. And he went down. I mean, he just literally went down and was just practically unconscious, had to be taken out on a stretcher.
It's scary stuff, and I mean, these pitchers, they deal with it. They're totally cool with it.
It's crazy. It really is.
1-1 the count to Jacob Teeter, who's 0 for 3. Worcester's going to check over on first. When I was playing Little League, there was, I don't know if it happened in New York or if it just happened across the country, but there was a kid who took a line drive to the chest, and he died because of it on the base pads. So they made us all wear these heart guards, they called it, which, was just a pad in front of your chest. And even, from 8 years old up until basically high school, we had to use wooden bats when we were playing just in the town league. Travel ball, we could use metal bats, but wooden bats in town, just to avoid that type of stuff.
I never got one to the chest. I had one in 3rd grade, though, where this big kid had a line drive that went right off my shin. I went down. My dad thought I broke my leg.
See, if you had just caught it,
right?
You would
I know, exactly.
1-2 the count to Teeter, the 3-hitter who's been anything but so far. As I mentioned, 0 for 3, also 2 strikeouts. Worcester trying to make it 3. He's looking back Baker, who's taking a huge lead at first. He isn't running. The pitch chopped over towards third. That one's going to get past Moretto and into left field. Tawa is there in time to cut it off, but Baker's going to go first to third. Teeter's on first base with his first single of the ball game. And just like that, Wareham with a fervent 2-out rally in the 7th.
The Gatemen love to single, baby. Now 9 hits on the night for Wareham. Every single one of them singles.
Wow. That's impressive.
And that's something you really don't see a lot. I mean, if a team's getting 9 hits, you're thinking, all right, they probably got a couple extra base hits, maybe a home run. Wareham, they just get contact. They find the holes. Teeter, that's a hard hit ground ball down the 3rd base line. No chance for Moretto as he was shaded pretty far off the bag.
Now a third of those total hits on the game have come in this 7th inning. It would be a miracle to let up 3 singles like that and be able to get out of the inning without allowing a run.
Right.
Having your catcher throw out a runner trying to steal will help that.
Huge. Yeah, that's a great point.
But Adrian Del Castillo looking for a chance for an RBI again. Swings at the first pitch, blooper into center field, but Dunn has it lined up. Playing pretty shallow against the power guy in Del Castillo, but it pays off. A fly out to center field will end this 7th inning that was busy. No runs on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on base. Somehow the Doors still with a 2-1 lead. As we head to the bottom of the 7th inning, it's stretch time in Falmouth.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 20-plus seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for elite baseball training and college recruiting assistance. They build more varsity starters, all-state athletes, and college and professional ball players than anyone else in the country. With over 1,000 events nationwide for players in middle school and high school and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball were Frank.
The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Ben Leeper now on the mound for Wareham to start the bottom of the 7th inning. Right-hander set off to face top of the order for Falmouth in Cantrell, Dunn, and Deloach.
Yeah, he's been really good this summer. 4.05 ERA. That's a little bit up from what we saw from Gates and Palmer. This is now his 7th appearance. He goes a max of about 2 innings.
Yeah.
5 of his 6 outings, just 1 inning. And he's given up 3 earned runs on 7 hits, 7 strikeouts, but 6 walks. So that command, like with many pitchers, is the issue.
He's got a couple of saves on the summer as well. I wouldn't call him a full-blown closer, but his last appearance on July 11th got the save against Bourne in a 4-2 victory. He's a 6-foot righty from the Oklahoma State University. Ball 1 comes high to Hayden Cantrell, originally from Southlake, Texas. Rising senior. Missed all of 2017 because of an injury, so he redshirted. Line drive off the bat of Cantrell, that into right field, and it's just foul. First base coach Ryan Eiley with a little jump and a turn. He knew that one could have meant money for Cantrell and all his speed.
That would have been 3 if that tagged the line. But just a shade foul. Leeper with a 4.31 ERA this past year. 4-4 record. 29 appearances in just 31 1/3 innings. He never made a start, so similar role that he had with the Cowboys. He was a middle reliever.
He's going to step off the mound before approaching Cantrell with the 1-1. Now Cantrell's going to call for time, and Leeper's going to ask for Del Castillo to come to the mound. As the pitchers in this ball game are just the most methodical people, and I say that negatively.
I dig it, man. I really do.
It's kind of frustrating.
It is. I mean, it's frustrating as a viewer if you want to like get into a rhythm for sure. But you can tell that there's so much thought going into every pitch.
Yeah.
And they're trying to put it in the perfect spot, not make any mistakes, because there's no room for error for either team.
Home plate umpire Jeff Merzell showing us that that's now 3 mound visits to Wareham, and I don't know what that means because they always keep count. I don't know if there's a cap on mound visits on the Cape. 2-1 now the count to Cantrell, the Lafayette Ragin' Cajun. The 2-1, up and away again. Leeper having a tough time finding the strike zone.
And Cantrell has been taking a lot more in this game. First at bat, he waits for a 2-2 count and then ends up striking out. Third at bat in the 3rd inning was a little bit quicker, but in the 5th, he worked a full count and then a single.
3-1 misses low, so it's a 5-pitch walk to put the leadoff man on the base paths. Hayden Cantrell, a speedy guy, now can wreak havoc with nobody out and the middle of the lineup approaching.
This is a great sign for Falmouth because every inning in which the first batter has gotten on for Falmouth, they have scored the run. Dunn led off with a double, came around to score in the 4th. Cruz with a single in the 6th. He came around to score the 2nd run.
First pitch to Blake Dunn is a bunt up the third base line, but he just can't get the angle quite right as it rolls a little bit foul.
I like the bunt attempt from Dunn there. It looked good, kind of similar to Braden Ward's attempt earlier in the game. 2 guys with a ton of speed. And you can tell they're dashing out of the box as soon as that ball hits.
They're trying to get some drag bunts. Blake has now shown bunt, if I remember correctly, in 3 of his 4 plate appearances. I think the only time he didn't show bunt was in the 4th when he led off the inning. I don't have the best memory, though, so you can check me on that because it seems like he's always trying to bunt for a hit or at least flaunt it. 0-1 to the Western Michigan Bronco. Cantrell is running. The pitch is high. Throw down from Del Castillo. Not in time. Hayden steals yet another base as he continues to be excellent.
The Doors love to steal, and in a game like this, it's really going to help you out. Commodores already are eager on the base paths with 52 stolen bases on the year. That is by far first in the Cape League. Now you got your leadoff runner in scoring position with nobody out.
The 1-1 to Dunn is swung on and fouled back. He was not showing bunt there, which you might think he'd try to bunt with a runner on second and nobody out just to move Hayden over towards third, and then a sacrifice fly with one out could easily score him. But the Doors trusting their center fielder Dunn, who's already reached base a couple of times and once with a double. Also got to be careful because the third baseman Matt McLean is pretty close to the bag. Here's the pitch. It's blooped out into right field, falling quickly, but stays up long enough for Rudick. Cantrell is going to fake the tag, but Rudick just delivered an absolute dart to third. So good thing he didn't go.
Now batting the right fielder from Texas.
Yeah, Hayden Cantrell was thinking about tagging up on that play, but it was a little bit too shallow. Put that a little bit deeper in right field. He likely can tag up and be on third base with one out. But I like Dunn's night. 1 for 4 with a walk, a double, and a run scored. And he put together, I think, better at-bats than he has been. Fouling off more pitches, and obviously the double was huge when Falmouth had really been silenced offensively.
First pitch comes high to Deloach. That double came in the fourth to lead off the inning. When he came around to score, that was the lone run on the ball game. Right now, Falmouth only leading 2-1. They could really use some insurance. I'm sure Zach Deloach would love a double. He's 0 for 3. Had a 7-game hitting streak snapped a couple days ago in the 7-0 loss to Yarmouth Dennis. But then yesterday, bounced back with another hit. He's now had 2 separate 7-game hitting streaks.
Right, so now he has to go on a 7-game hitting streek, right?
Yeah,
he needs a hit tonight. That's how it works. Yeah,
he's looking to make it back-to-back games with hits. Who would have expected this type of summer from a guy who hit 205 last year with Texas A&M? Shoots this out into left field. This might be playable for McLean, but he won't get there in time as it falls out of play.
Deloach now alone in the team lead in batting average at .395. Last night, going into the game against Hyannis, he and Austin Maisel were both at .395. Maisel in plenty less at-bats, but he had a tougher night at the plate last night and has now dropped to about .350, while Deloach has stayed put at .392.
Hayden is trying to take third. The pitch is high, and Del Castillo had no shot. What a great jump by Hayden Cantrell, as Ben Leeper didn't even give a look back, so Cantrell took what was given to him. Insurance now only 90 feet away.
That's unreal by Cantrell. Not as many hard hit balls have we seen off his bat. The extra base hits were a staple at the beginning part of the year, and now he's that jitterbug on the base paths who gets things going.
Infield is in as Deloach skies another one into foul territory and well out of play. Cantrell now with 3 stolen bases on the night. We mentioned it before, bears repeating, he has only been caught trying to steal once.
Yep.
And it came a millennium ago. Full count to Zach Deloach, the most dangerous hitter in this lineup. Tied for the team lead in RBIs at 15, trying to put himself back in sole possession. Payoff pitch. Breaking ball outside, ball 4. He'll take it. Runners now on the corners, and the cleanup man Trey Cruz will come up to the plate, who's already got 2 hits today.
Leeper now moves his walk total to higher than that of his strikeouts. 8 walks to 7 Ks. And this is reminiscent of that outing against Bourne, in which Leeper pitched an inning in 2/3 but walked 3 batters. Already has 2 in the first 3 batters he's faced against Falmouth.
In a game that has been a pitcher's duel through and through, it's been Falmouth getting the edge. But really, walks haven't been the name of the game. Haven't been capitalizing on them. Ball misses low.
The name of the game in this game has been Falmouth has capitalized better with runners on base.
Yeah.
Wareham has left 9 stranded. Falmouth only 5. And when they get those leadoff runners on, they're bringing them home.
The 1-0. Taken inside. Del Castillo has to chase it down. Cantrell's going to try to take home, and that one just kept rolling away. It's a pretty far backstop here at Gov Fuller Field, and Adrian Del Castillo not with enough speed to catch up to it before it got all the way to the fence. Deloach takes second, and Cantrell is the Commodores' third run.
Well, that's one way to get an extra run of cushion. We've seen a few balls leak past Del Castillo today. Nothing, I think, too much that you can blame on him. Just some wild pitches that have just squeaked past him.
Cruz slaps that one away. That one may be a pass ball. Not sure how it's going to be scored. Yeah, it is scored a passed ball. That one probably, I agree with that. That probably should have been caught. Del Castillo, a guy who's a natural catcher, played it all throughout high school, but he didn't play it too much at Miami this past spring, only a couple of times. He was more of an outfielder for the Hurricanes. 2-2 now the count to Cruz.
So a couple wild pitches and one passed ball have allowed these base runners to advance, and Falmouth now with a 2-run lead.
2-2 to Cruz. Inside, that time Del Castillo blocks it. Cruz is now skipping away, and he's going to take his base before even Jeff Merzell noticed. He kind of looked behind him and was like, what was going on? But now he points Deloach back to second, as they do agree that that one hit the foot of Trey Cruz, and that's going to call for a quick meeting from Jerry Weinstein to talk down Leeper, who has gotten into a whole world of trouble in his lone inning of work.
Jason Ruffcorn warming in the pen for Wareham. He goes to the rival school of Leeper with the Oklahoma Sooners. Leeper shaking his head a couple times as Weinstein does not want to give Falmouth any more of a cushion. 2 runs already feels like a lot in a game that's been decided by 1 run.
And Falmouth is going to go to their best pitchers out of the bullpen. I mean, they went to their 2 all-star pitchers yesterday against Hyannis in a very narrow game, 2-0 win where they had Aleman start and then Logan Hoffman come in afterwards. And then Thomas Gerard, just to add insult to injury, a guy who very well could be an all-star if he had more appearances. And you know that they've probably got Brixey on the mind, maybe Weatherly, who's been pretty shut down. Maldonado, I'm sure, is probably potentially a guy to go to in this ball game. A lot of good relievers the Doors can turn to. Right now, they're just looking for insurance, not going to be focusing on pitching just yet. First pitch to Taylor Smith, huge home run hack, swings right through it.
We say that a lot with Taylor Smith. It's because it really looks like he's swinging for the fence every time he's up.
He takes some violent swings. 0-1. Lays off that outside fastball. And in this opportunity, he's probably just looking to put the game on ice. A 3-run home run to make it 6-1. I don't know if Wareham, the way they've been hitting the ball today, would be able to come back from that.
That would feel like a definite nail in the coffin.
1-1 from Leeper. Just a little bit high.
But right now, if I'm Taylor Smith and any of these Falmouth batters who are getting up soon, I'm taking a lot of pitches because right now Leeper with trouble finding the strike zone.
He's thrown 14 balls to only 9 strikes and only gotten through a third of an inning. 2-1. Launched into center field, but this one is definitely playable for Braden Ward, who trots over into right center, makes the catch. Deloach isn't going to tag. Throw comes into short. 2 outs now.
Leeper's worked a couple fly balls from Dunn and Smith, both of them shallow enough so that the runner at second can't tag. Radcliffe with the game-leading RBI so far in this game with the double in the 6th, has a chance to add to the lead here in the 7th.
Yeah, Barron has really started to rake in the last couple of games. He's got extra base hits up the wazoo recently.
I don't get the shift here with 2 outs, though.
I mean, if he hits one towards where maybe Stevens is shaded over near the middle of the infield, it would score a run. Instead, they're hoping that if he hits it there, it's an out, and they get out of the inning.
Right.
1-0 to Radcliffe. Takes a big swing at the pitch right down the middle, but he can't connect.
I just look at it as an opportunity. If you have a Stevens at his regular position at short, then if it's hit there, you can go to third or second.
Right.
You can get the lead runners.
1-1 to Barron, a slider that's taken on the inside part of the plate. Beautiful pitch from Leeper to get ahead 1-2. If he's not careful with that pitch, I mean, Radcliffe probably could have nuked it.
Right.
Leeper comes set from the stretch with DeLoach on second. Here's the pitch. High fly ball. That's going to stay on the infield, but it's a towering shot. Catch will be made over at first base by Teeter, and that will do it for the 7th inning. Falmouth scores 1 run on no hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on base. So how about that half inning for the Commodores? No hits. I was shocked by that because I remembered all the base runners on, but a passed ball, a couple stolen bases from Hayden Cantrell. Everything was pretty good.
Yeah, they look good, and they take advantage of the mistakes that Leeper makes. Those 2 walks and then the pass ball are the difference. Also, Hayden Cantrell's stolen bases were huge, especially that one to third, which froze Del Castillo. He had no chance.
So in the meantime, while we wait for the top of the 8th to get underway, the third member of our broadcast team, our reporter Katie Florio, got to catch up with someone very cool that we've brought up a couple of times in this ball game, whose son is playing. Katie, what do you have to say about Dusty Baker?
And I just had a chance to catch up with former MLB player and manager Dusty Baker. His son Darren plays for Wareham, and he finally had the chance to come out and watch one of his games tonight. He said that this is the chance of a lifetime for not only his son, but all of these guys playing in this league tonight. His son actually grew up playing with Falmouth's Troy Clunch. They've been playing baseball together since they were 8 years old and are very good family friends. He said that even though these guys come from all over the country, he loves the new relationships they're making as well as the old ones they're building upon.
Thank you, Katie. So we've talked about him enough times, and we finally get a report from Katie Florio on Dusty Baker, and that's exactly what the Cape League's all about, making those new friends. And who would have known that Troy is a close friend of Darren's?
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, especially those West Coast relationships, Pac-12. I'm sure that they have crossed paths a few times in college. And that video was also recorded on our social media. Be sure you're following that, Falmouth Commodores, on Instagram and Twitter. A great video released. Jesse Tiber White, someone who has a drone, came here to Gov Fuller Field and just completely, by his own volition, completely unpaid, out of the goodness of his heart and love of baseball, he came and shot some amazing aerial footage of Gov Fuller Field. Be sure to check that out.
Yeah, so if you've never been to Falmouth, never been to Gov Fuller Field, check that out because it really lays out everything. You got the water in the background, and you can see pretty much all of downtown Falmouth in that shot. But in the meantime, Sam Weatherly now towing the rubber for the Commodores. So Worcester's day is done, and it'll be Weatherly called upon from Clemson University to keep this a 3-1 deficit in favor of Falmouth.
And Weatherly is hit or miss. No other way to put it. In his outings, he either gives up no earned runs or more than 1. 4 of his 6 outings, he's been shut out. But then he ran into trouble against Hyannis, giving up 4 earned runs on June 26th. Then against Katuitt, 2 earned runs on July 10th. They really need him to be at his best in a 2-run ball game.
Matt McLean will lead off in this half inning, trying to get Wareham back on the map, trailing by 2, as you mentioned, with only 6 outs to go. First, I got to go back to Katie. She got to interview Dave Roberts last week, managed in a World Series. Dusty Baker managed in a World Series. Neither of them World Series winners as managers, but still incredible stuff Katie's been able to get for us this summer.
Dave Roberts, World Series winner as a player.
He was a winner as a player, yeah. Dusty in his 19 years, unfortunately, for him, never got a ring, to my knowledge. Ball 1 runs up and away to Matt McLean. If Katie isn't thankful for the Falmouth Commodores giving her this opportunity, she is, trust me.
I mean, Dave Roberts and Dusty Baker should be thankful to Katie Florio to be on the Falmouth Commodores Twitter.
What we've heard is that both of them super nice. They were super courteous to both Katie and Haley, who was taking the video. So shout out to the big guys, the big guns in baseball, being genuine guys. 1-1 fastball up and away. Weatherly really trying to fire fastballs pretty much past these hitters. I mean, he is unleashing right now.
Right. Big, tall lefty from Clemson has been a little bit wild this summer.
That 2-1 misses off the plate again, pretty significantly too.
6 walks and 10 strikeouts for Weatherly. He'll be a junior next year, had a 3.38 ERA during his sophomore season.
Here's the 3-1. Fastball cut on and missed, so he just decided to hit the plate with that one, and he was able to get McLean behind it. David, we stand corrected. Dusty Baker did win a World Series back in 1981 with the LA Dodgers. How could we forget? Ground ball up the middle. Base hit for McLean. He now has singles in 3 straight at-bats.
I was negative 16 years old. How could I forget?
Jerk.
What?
If it makes you feel any better, I was negative 17, so.
Wow. Fair enough. McLean's been great, though. That was lost in the mix.
McLean?
Really good. 3 for 4. And now 10 hits, 10 singles.
Dallas Beaver, who's 0 for 3 and has a really rough day at the plate. I mean, boy, with Beaver, his first at-bat, he led off the second inning and flew out, so nothing really to shake your head at there, as he shows bunt and takes an outside curveball. But his second at-bat came up with a runner on first and no outs, grounded into a double play. His third at-bat struck out with nobody out and runners on first and second. Real great opportunity at the time for Wareham to try to tie the game, and he couldn't deliver. 1-0 graces the outside corner.
He's a guy who was pretty hot coming into this game as well. He had that 6-game hit streak snapped his last time out, but now in danger of 2 straight games without a hit.
Here's the 1-1 to the big lefty. Big looping breaking ball that just misses outside. Sam Weatherly, a Michigan native, was All-State as a junior and a senior, and then last summer was back in Michigan playing for the Kalamazoo Growlers of the Northwoods League. Ground ball over towards second. This could be 2. Cantrell flips it to Cruz for 1. On to first. The second double play of the ball game against Dallas Beaver erases the base runner and puts 2 outs on the board in the 8th.
What a great play by the Falmouth defense, but you cannot have much of a worse day at the plate if you're Dallas Beaver. Leadoff runner on in the 4th and the 8th with a single. Matt McLean's like, what the heck, man? As a couple ground balls up the middle, easy double plays turned. Beaver not with much speed at all. So Falmouth not having to do too much to then clear the base runners and give Weatherly a little bit of breathing room.
Wareham has officially stranded 9 runners on base, but that doesn't take into account the runners who have been out on fielders' choices, out on double plays, and caught stealing.
Caught stealing is another one that I was just about to hit on, Danny. Leadoff runner in the 7th thrown out at second base. Then there was another caught stealing earlier in the game as well.
Count 1-1 to Matt Rudick, who's 0 for 3. And I'm looking through my scorecard. I can't tell you how many times I'm seeing, 6-4 FC.
Sure.
Even in the 6th inning, the 4-2 fielder's choice to end the inning. Breaking ball sits at the knees for a strike. Because remember, that was the booted play by Hayden Cantrell. And for whatever reason, Matt McLean decided to be a good idea to try to score from second on that ground ball.
Right.
And he was a dead duck. So hitting with runners on base has not been the strong suit for Wareham in this ball game, which not something I was expecting to say. 2-2 now the count to Rudick. He's already struck out twice, both of them swinging. Weatherly from the windup, rocks and fires home. Just fouled as Nelson drops his glove and will slowly saunter away towards the baseball and scoop it up. A little upset at himself that he couldn't squeeze it.
Going back to the team that Weatherly was on last summer, teammate of Baron Radcliffe.
Oh, really?
Out in Kalamazoo, yeah.
It's got to be a nice homecoming for Sam, being able to play for the entire summer in Michigan. I don't know how far Howell, his hometown, is from Kalamazoo.
Michigan's a sneaky big state.
Yeah.
People think it's not that big. It is a big, big, big state. I think it's like close to 4 hours from northernmost to southernmost.
I would expect it to be bigger, actually. Here's the 2-2. Fastball rocketed into left field, but there is Tim Tawa to settle under it and make the catch. Sam Weatherly faces the minimum thanks to another double play ball from Dallas Beaver as he allows no runs on one hit, no errors, and no runners left on base. To the bottom of the 8th we go. Falmouth leading 3-1, looking for insurance. We'll be right back on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 20-plus seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for elite baseball training and college recruiting assistance. They build more varsity starters, all-state athletes, and college and professional ball players than anyone else in the country. With over 1,000 events nationwide for players in middle school and high school and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more.
David, I've got the horsepower in the back. Gas cap is attached. You like that one? And I'm in the driver's seat. You're navigating. Where are we heading as we go around the Cape League?
Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox, 9-4 win. They had a huge win last night, come from behind against Harwich. They win 9-4 against Bourne at Red Wilson Field. Jack Thomas Wold, another home run. He had that huge go-ahead 3-run home run yesterday against Harwich. Puts up another dinger tonight. Chatham beats Brewster 7-2 at Stony Brook. Anglers pile on with 13 hits, 4 extra base hits. As we go towards the games in action, Harwich and Hyannis. Sneaky been a good series this year.
Yeah.
Hyannis got their first win of the year against the Mariners. Mariners are up 3-2 at White House Field. And Catuit and Orleans in a pitcher's duel, 0-0 in the bottom of the 7th. That game started at 7 p.m., already 2 hours in, and in the 7th inning.
0-0 will do that.
It will.
First pitch misses inside to Steven Moretto. Now the second pitch to Moretto. Again, misses inside. Pardon me, this is Matt Nelson at the plate, so he's ahead 2-0. Catuit and Orleans played on July 14th, 2 days ago. They tied 6-6.
Yeah.
Right now, if the score remains the same, they'd tie again.
Now on the mound for the Gateman, a senior at the University of Oklahoma.
We got a new pitcher on the mound. You mentioned him last half inning when he was warming up. It's Ruffcorn from Oklahoma. His first appearance of the summer as Nelson swings 3-0, shoots one into center field. Out in right center, Darren Baker tracks it down. The second baseman makes the catch for a pop-out against Nelson. So a risky move to swing 3-0. Matt looking for a hit, doesn't get one there.
Rough corner, recent addition from Oklahoma. Rising senior with the Sooners. He's a transfer from Texas A&M, actually. Spent freshman and sophomore year down in College Station.
Another pitch misses inside to Steven Moretto. It's been exclusively balls so far from Ruffcorn, except for the one swing from Nelson.
Yeah, he had a pretty good year in 2019. 2.50 ERA, 2-2 record, 29 appearances.
Finally finds the strike zone with a called strike on that one on the outside black. Falmouth leading 3-1. They're getting out hit 10-6, but they've gotten the hits with runners on base, and that's made the difference. 1-0 to Moretto. Or pardon me, 1-1, hits the inside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Steven taking his time getting back in the batter's box. Ruffcorn already ready, but now he's going to step off, quickly get back on, and he's already back into his windup. Here's the 1-2. Just a tad inside.
Bottom of the order has been held without a hit tonight. The only one who's gotten on base was Nelson with a walk in the 6th.
2-2 runs inside to Moretto. You mentioned he's 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts. Every single one in the bottom of the lineup, 7 through 9, they each have 2 strikeouts. Moretto trying to reach base for the first time, sees a payoff pitch and taps it foul. Ruffcorn was just activated on July 12th by the Gatemen. They've made a lot of recent additions. He even signed somebody on July 15th just a day ago. I thought rosters went final recently, but maybe some wiggle room here and there. But mid to late July, they've been adding a ton of people. Here's a line drive into left center field. Base hit for Steven Moretto. Steven has really been struggling at the plate recently with a batting average coming into today right at 200. But he goes 1 for 4 in this ball game thanks to a single in his final AB.
It's good stuff from Moretto, mirroring the kind of contact he had against Brewster on that 3 for 4 night. Hard hit ball, no chance for Chad Stevens.
Tim Tawa now, who's 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts, like the rest of that bottom of the lineup, will try to buck that trend as he watches a ball that just misses a tad low. Tim playing left field for the Commodores tonight. Last night he was at second base, and he was excellent. It was his first appearance at second on the summer. And he had some pretty impressive web gems, kept a lot of balls on the infield even when he wasn't getting outs. Had one leaping throw across his body when his body weight was taking him the other way to get an out, looking like Derek Jeter. And then had a sliding play as he absolutely annihilates that ball but sends it foul. Had a sliding play to end the ball game in the 9th inning with 2 runners on base. Today he's been moved back out to the outfield. Hasn't been nearly as tested. Here's the 1-2. Fastball swung on and missed, strike 3. Tim goes down by way of the K for the 3rd time in 4 at-bats.
And the last time he got K'd up, it was swinging, said the first base umpire, Larry Rosenberg. Tawa didn't like the call. He can't put up a fight on this final at-bat.
Back to Hayden Cantrell at the top of the lineup, who's gotten a lot of at-bats so far. He swings first pitch, pummels one into center field. It's falling, but it won't fall fast enough as Braden Ward gets there in time to make the grab. The Commodores score no runs. They do get a hit, no errors, and they strand that man who got the hit on first base. To the top of the 9th we go. It'll be the closer, Zach Brixey, entering the ball game, looking to shut down the Gatemen with the Commodores leading 3-1. We'll be right back.
What's donated here stays here. All blood that is donated to Cape Cod Healthcare stays on Cape Cod to help the lives of your friends, family, and neighbors. Learn more about donating blood, platelets, or hosting a blood drive at capecodhealth.org/blood center.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 20-plus seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for elite baseball training and college recruiting assistance. They build more varsity starters, all-state athletes, and college and professional ball players than anyone else in the country. With over 1,000 events nationwide for players in middle school and high school and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more.
The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
To the top of the 9th we go. Johnny Cash ringing out over the ballpark at Gov Fuller Field for Zach Brixey, the one and only, the closer for the Commodores, setting an ominous tone as he looks to close this game out against Wareham and give the Commodores their 2nd win in as many tries against the Gatemen.
Yeah, this is awesome. I'm getting chills right now. I'm a big fan of the win songs, the loss songs, the good PA choices.
Yep.
And this is one, that's for sure. Zach Brixey, that tall, imposing figure, trying to put down the Gatemen and get Falmouth what I think would be one of their best wins of the summer against a team in first place. If Katuitt falls to Orleans, all of a sudden, they're just a couple games out of first with dates against the Kettleers and Gatemen coming up this week.
Falmouth at 14-12-1 on the season. Still a couple of points behind Wareham, but we always mention it. They got those games in hand, which if you can win those would be huge. 1-0 now the count to Chad Stevens, who's leading off. He has a single on the ball game. Count now 1-1 after a fastball hits the outside zone. Zach Brixey, possibly a sleeper for an all-star snub. He's got 3 saves and 6 appearances, only 6 innings pitched because every single outing has been 1 inning.
Yeah.
But a 1.50 ERA. 1-1. Subtle movement, and it's a strike.
So over the whole summer, he's only faced 4 over the minimum. Allowed a home run his last time out against Yarmouth Dennis. Hit a couple batters, walked 1, but he has been awesome.
1-2 on the outside corner, strike 3 called. Went with another breaking ball, and he got it against Stevens. That was a beautiful pitch for out number 1.
Number 16, Mike Antico.
I know there's still 2 outs to get and plenty of ball game left. But you hold the Wareham Gatemen to 1 run. That is a feat in and of itself.
Oh, yeah. I think it would be super impressive if you were to win a slugfest against Wareham, but to win a pitcher's duel against them, I mean, as a bunt is thrown down but fouled by Antico, even to be in a pitcher's duel with Wareham is impressive to say the least.
Yeah.
And they're doing exactly pretty much what we suggested they do. That is the Falmouth team, striking out a lot of hitters. They have let up a lot of hits, so they, contact has been common for Wareham, but when runners have gotten on base, the pitchers have been locked down.
Yep.
0-1-2 Antico. Taken just a bit outside.
And Falmouth's defense has been great tonight, too.
Yeah.
Hayden Cantrell with that 1 error, but
he
had a short-term memory because he picked up that ball, threw it home for the final out, and then some really, really pretty plays on the infield.
A lot of them for double plays, so Hayden has had his fair share of nice scoops. As there's a beautiful pitch on the inside zone that Antico was completely fooled by. Antico from St. John's, Brixey from Virginia Tech. Brixey's 1-2 offering. Ground ball into right field for a hit. Mike Antico now has hits and back-to-back plate appearances as the ball gets behind Zach Deloach, rolls to the fence. Antico's going to round second. He's into third, standing up in E9. And just like that, the Falmouth fielding comes back and bites him.
Oh, man. And this is when you're glad you have a 2-run cushion.
Right.
Because a sac fly, if you're up only 1, would tie the game. Instead, you got that extra run in the 7th inning, which was thanks to mistakes by Wareham. Some walks and pass balls by the Gatemen in the 7th allowed Hayden Cantrell to score. But now you got the top of the order coming up, and you don't have much room for error. You can allow the 1 run, but you definitely don't want to. You don't want to give Wareham any momentum.
Things were feeling really comfortable for the Doors just a moment ago. Now getting a little bit iffy as Braden Ward swings at the first pitch fastball and lines it out of play along the left field line. Braden Ward 1 for 4, had a single back in the 5th. He's been making solid contact all game. That 3rd run coming in the 7th on the pass ball now looks so much bigger than it did just a little bit ago.
It's a Wareham team that's also never out of a game. 2 wins ago against Brewster, they scored 5 runs in the bottom of the 7th, had a walk-off in the bottom of the 9th. It was a throwing error by the Brewster pitcher to score Chad Stevens.
Here's the 1-1 to Ward. Fastball right down the chute, but he couldn't catch up to it. That's Brixey's bread and butter.
Yeah, that's a beat-me pitch right there. Fastball right down the middle. He says, all right, show me what you got. Blows it right by the leadoff man and one of the best hitters. That is a gutsy pitch.
Yeah. I'm sure we've seen Braden Ward hit that plenty of times. He's got a .336 batting average for a reason.
He's going fastball again.
1-2. It is a fastball, and Ward just is able to tag it into foul territory.
You know he just wants that heater right now. It's feeling good. Ward's able to foul that one off, so maybe wouldn't be surprised if he goes off speed here, but he's really just trying to get a K here so that the final out can be made without even worrying about the man on third.
Infield is back. They're willing to concede a run. The 1-2 yet again. Down low. This game refuses to get boring.
Yeah.
I mean, even in the middle innings when things were really, really slow, Caleb Worster and Trent Palmer were both very deliberate pitching. even those innings got very interesting. And to the very final couple of outs, things are entertaining here in Falmouth in a 3-1 game. Here's the pitch. Line drive right at Hayden Cantrell. He catches it up in the air, and no play over at third base as Antico was not shaded off the bag. That's another L4 from Braden Ward. So again, like I said, he's been getting great contact. Unfortunately, twice now, Cantrell has been right there.
Right, 1 for 5 night for Ward, but it doesn't show how great he was at the plate. Gets hard contact twice. Hayden Cantrell just in the right spot a couple times.
So the Gatemen are now down to their final out, and Darren Baker will be the chance. Falmouth can maybe not worry about the home run. Baker not a power hitter as he watches a ball sit high.
Right, I just thought the same thing. I'm immediately looking at his home run numbers.
Right.
He doesn't have any this summer. 2 doubles, 1 triple.
Didn't have any this sophomore year either. 1-0, breaking ball knee high for a strike. So far today, he's been pretty hot. 2 for 3 and has reached base 3 times thanks to a walk. Also a couple stolen bases. Brixey's 1-1. Another breaking ball. That was about belt high, but sat a little bit outside. Darren also batting well over 300, much like the leadoff man Ward. Came into this ball game batting .326, and so far has upped that. Brixey's 2-1 offering. Called a strike on the outside part of the plate, and the Gatemen are down to their final strike. A 3-1 ball game in favor of the Doors with the tying run at the plate and 2 outs. Here's the 2-2. Down low, and a great block by Nelson to keep that runner at third. Zach Brixey with a slow walk back onto the rubber as he's being deliberate, wipes off the ball, and is ready to come home with another 2-strike pitch. Now the count full to Baker. Here it is, the payoff pitch. Fly ball out of play. And if Baker does anything well, it is definitely prolonging at bats.
Sure. He has not struck out yet today.
And he's worked countless three-ball counts. A lot of foul balls from him as well. We'll try again. 3-2. Ground ball right at Trey Cruz. This should do it. Throw on to first in time, and the ball game is over. The Falmouth Commodores win by a score of 3-1 as they knock off the first-place Wareham Gatemen for the second time this season in as many chances.
That was an awesome baseball game.
Yeah. You're telling me. I mean, that was so entertaining.
3-1, the final score in what really did feel like a playoff game. It was sort of a game in which Falmouth and Wareham were looking across at one another from across the boxing ring, if you will, and they hadn't seen each other in a long time. They said, give me what you got. Show me what you got, and let's see who comes out on top. And they pulled out all the stops with some of the best pitchers for both of these teams, and the Commodores get the win. I mean, they were better with runners in scoring position.
Yep.
And they were great.
And we talked about it a ton in the beginning of the game, a ton in the pregame. It was the Wareham offense that was the story of this matchup.
Yeah.
And the Falmouth pitching, they did not by any means limit it. I mean, they had 11 hits, did Wareham, double-digit hits yet again. But what they did do well was kept them from scoring when they got on base. 10 runners in total left on base for the Gatemen. That doesn't even include, like we were saying just a little while ago, the runners that were thrown out trying to steal, the double plays and stuff like that. It just seemed like Falmouth pitching got that much better when runners got on, and they didn't give Wareham an inch.
I mean, that kind of is the best you're going to do to limit Wareham's batting, right? They're going to get their hits. They're going to get on base. But when they do, you have to be that much better. Nick Nastrini I know that they worked his pitch count up, got him out early. I think the story of this game was Caleb Worster. He comes in 2 2/3 innings, gives up 6 hits, but again, when those runners are on base, he was that much better. Only gives up the 1 run. It wasn't even earned. No walks and 1 strikeout.
And no one on the offensive side of the ball for Falmouth really stood out too much. I mean, Trey Cruz with another 2-hit performance. He scored a run. Blake Dunn had a double. He scored a run. But it was pretty, far and few between were the hits, were the base runners, but they did it little by little to scratch out the runs. This was a very sound game from Falmouth. Yeah, 2 errors, but again, back-to-back games where they won last night 2-0 against Hyannis, tonight 3-1 against Wareham. Just looking like a very complete ball club, even if the hitting's a little slower.
And they get the wins, right? That's the most important thing, is the batters did what they needed to do. Hayden Cantrell with a couple stolen bases. He comes across to score the 3rd run. And that's really all you can ask for, is to have the bats do enough to get you a win.
Getting tonight's win is Caleb Worster. Trent Palmer is tagged with the loss, and getting the save, his 4th of the summer, is Zach Brixey. The Commodores score 3 runs on 7 hits, commit 2 errors. Meanwhile, the Gatemen, 1 run on 11 hits, no errors for them. But again, it's the Doors who come out on top against those first-place Gatemen. We'll have another date with Wareham tomorrow, this time at Spillane Field in just about 24 hours. First pitch coming up at 6:45. Be sure to tune in around 6:40 for our pregame show. But for now, that'll do it here at Gov Fuller Field. For my producer, Jamie Miller, for our sideline reporter, Katie Florio, my great broadcast partner, David Korsanowski, I'm Daniel LaRose saying so long from the Gov, and we'll see you tomorrow.